listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Racing about to get underway then here at the Birelart UK Series at Clay Pigeon as we get ourselves underway with the cadets, juniors and super elites for their pre-finals and finals. After the earlier races earlier today, we have had some absolutely terrific action to talk about, and there's been some amazing racing all the way through the first part of the day here. All weekend it's been about sunshine, balmy breezes and some intense temperatures baking the circuit and of course melting the tyres as they go. But this time it's going to be the serious business of no-nonsense racing. We've got the pre-finals coming up for the Cadet 60 Championship first of all, and after their previous encounter in the heats earlier today, it will be a really interesting battle. Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley will share the front row of the starting grid, and they will have another fantastic battle, just as they did in the previous race. And they worked together in the early stages to pull further ahead, and they're hoping to continue that similar sort of strategy into the second race of their weekend. Ellis Stevens is alongside Charlie Humphreys for this one on the second row of the grid. Ellis Stevens again on that inside line of the final turn, but having to hold it round the outside initially, so it will be a tough one from her point of view, but Charlie Humphreys is eager to pounce there alongside her on the second row of the grid. Kylan Ingram and Jamie Gurney will be wanting a little bit more from that third row of the grid. They will be very fast and furious drivers in this one, wanting to move closer to that podium. And then on the 7th and 8th positions on the grid, we have Aidan Hassan continuing to march forward with Archie Heron alongside him on that 4th row of the grid. Callum Lockett will line up in 9th place alongside Lily Jeffs on the 5th row. On the 6th row of the grid, it'll be one of the top rookies, Craig Evans, along with Hudson Cross in 12th position. Josh Turnbull will be there in 13th from Jamie Scott, who fought his way valiantly up to 14th. 15th position will be Jamie Warner with Chase Sharp in the mix. And then after a very unlucky run last time out, it will be the number 75, Jake Bell, who will try and charge his way further forward. So a couple of engines on there. I'm not entirely sure why, because they haven't got the signal to head out onto the circuit yet. But it's been a very interesting start today with a lot of people pushing very hard for some great race action, trying to find that little bit of extra time. The 42nd lap is absolute gold dust here in the cadets, and they've been working very hard to get there. They get the signal at the end of the pit lane. Let's go racing. And it will be a really exciting battle in the cadets. 17 of them as they all charge away. A collection of the established guard from last year and the top rookies as they have made their way into the championship for this season. And they're all on a very similar sort of pace. Everybody gunning for a 40 to 41 second lap time, dependent on their experience. But the cadets have been very strong in their earlier race, and we'll see some magnificent action from them here today. So as the drivers charge away from the pit lane, they will go around this circuit in formation, and hopefully it will be a clean start. They need to form up in position now. They will do so. And as they get themselves ready for race action, we should have some pretty exciting racing. It's been a very fast run in the rows from the front, so they will have to go round again because there are a few drivers not quite in position. So they will go round once more. No racing this time. They will form up in positions once more, and then we will go racing. So let's see how the drivers will cope with the situation as we get ourselves underway for the pre-finals. These points in this race are not quite as intensive as the points for the final. Basically, the most points come from the final. The pre-final gives you a little bit more in terms of points than the heats does. But it's a good start to the weekend thus far from Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley. Ellis Stevens and Charlie Humphreys on that second row of the grid. Then it is Kylan Ingram, Jamie Gurney, Aidan Hassan, Archie Heron, Callum Lockett and Lily Jeffs in the top 10, with the rest of the rookies charging after them. So who's going to get the second victory of the weekend? We're about to find out, because the talking and the build-up and anticipation will now focus on the race itself. They come up to the lines, all things going very well indeed at the trams, and the lights out. We are racing. Let's double check. No, well, we still had the red lights on the top of the gantry, but the timer has ticked down. So I guess we are racing, are we? Let's double check. Well, the lights are still on. No, so we are not racing. So the racing is going to, a false start there, so the racing will start once more. This will be the third formation lap, just to make sure that the tension is even more upbeat. So the drivers will go around this beautiful clay pigeon circuit where 30 years ago, very nearly to the week, 30 years ago, Jenson Button took his first steps on this very race circuit to becoming a Formula One world champion. He started here at this very circuit. And I wonder if we've got another potential Formula One world champion in the midst. The Birelart UK Series paddock has produced quite a few top talents, including Formula 3 racer Jake Hughes, who's currently doing a grand job. Let's see how the drivers are going off on the line now. We wait for the start. This time it's a good one, and we are racing, and it's a cracking start right from the off as Ella Stevens tries to move away into second position on the off, and she's there into second place straight away. Ella Stevens from third, so a good start there from Stevens, but out in front it is Nathan Tye who leads the way. Stevens second, Keatley is third with a hard charge from Kylan Ingram up in fourth position. Charlie Humphries a good start in fifth. Gurney's there in sixth from Hassan. Craig Evans having a great start up into eighth place past Callum Lockett. Lily Jeffs, Archie Heron, and then Jamie Scott. Jamie Scott's had a great start, up 2 places to 12th. So a brilliant getaway from him. Josh Turnbull's giving chase. Then it is the likes of the four behind of Warner, Sharp, and then of course we have Hudson Cross in there battling away with Jay Sharp, Warner and Jake Bell. So Nathan Tye leads, Ella Stevens second, and we did say that from third position Ella Stevens would have a good chance off the start, and she has done so, right into second place, chasing down Nathan Tye. It's a tough race. Here goes Ella Stevens for the lead immediately, into the second lap, and she's there. Ella Stevens takes the lead. Great start to the race then from Ella. So she leads from Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley. Fourth is Kylan Ingram. Charlie Humphries in fifth place. Jamie Gurney again struggling to keep up with them. As the top five are trying to break away. Aidan Hassan leading a brilliant battle of a seventh place further back. Craig Evans is back in the mix now, having worked his way back forward. And here comes Callum Lockett side by side with Evans. Lily Jeffs and Archie Heron getting close. And here comes Jamie Scott. Jamie Scott is on the comeback trail. The leaders are going through the S's at the moment. It is Ella Stevens from Tye, Keatley, Ingram and Humphries. So a great run there as they come up towards that tight right-hander where Stevens took the lead last time. So Stevens leading, Tye second, Keatley third, Ingram and Humphries are not far away. There's a titanic scrap for seventh position behind these guys. Aidan Hassan holding off the attentions of Craig Evans as Lily Jeffs makes the move on Archie Heron, trying to come through. So the leaders are running in formation. Ella Stevens going well in the lead of the race. Second place, Nathan Tye getting some help from Oakley Keatley. That's definitely going to help in the battle for victory. But this time Ella Stevens looks well planted in the lead of the race as the Birelart cadets continue to battle. And the reigning champion, Ella Stevens, number one, is P1 right now. Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley giving so much pressure as they come up the top far of the circuit. Fourth is Ingram, fifth is Charlie Humphries, and sixth Jamie Gurney. Then for seventh position further back, there is a magnificent scrap. 3 wide coming into the horseshoe very nearly as Hassan holds on in front of Craig Evans. Brilliant stuff. Callum Lockett is next up. Then it's Archie Heron, Lily Jeffs and Jamie Scott. Great racing. The leaders are very close too. Ella Stevens still there in front. Let's look back and watch this battle for the top 7. Look at it. Hassan is right in the mix there with Craig Evans battling away from Callum Lockett, Archie Heron, Lily Jeffs and Jamie Scott. Really exciting racing at the moment as they continue to battle for position. This is terrific stuff as they scrap away. Ella Stevens is your leader. Second is Nathan Tye. Third is Oakley Keatley. Then it's Kylan Ingram, Charlie Humphries, Gurney. And then we've got a great battle further back as Aidan Hassan has held on in front of Craig Evans. Callum Lockett. Lily Jeffs now tucked at the back of the queue behind Archie Heron and Jamie Scott. Ella Stevens still running in the lead of her battle at the moment. Terrific grudge matches all around the circuit as they continue to battle away. Great racing here. Aidan Hassan's got a lot of work to do to hang on in front of her run of the battle in the midst of the bat. In front of Heron, I was going to say actually, and then I got distracted. Heron is in the mix, trying to work progress through. Still Stevens, Ty and Keatley at the front. Ingram and Humphreys. Gurney in 6th place. Hassan hanging on in front of Craig Evans. Callum Lockett. Then Archie Heron, Jamie Scott and Lily Jeffs. And a great battle between these four as they work together in position there. 7th position. The battle is on. 6 of them all scrapping away majestically. Out to the far side of the circuit. Evans looking for a move and diving down the inside. That's a great move from Jamie Scott. Jamie Scott gets the move on Archie Heron. So Jamie Scott is through. Ella Stevens still leads the way from Nathan Ty and Oakley Keatley as they battle away for 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Ingram's got Charlie Humphreys closing him down, so Humphreys is getting very close. If he's going to get a chance to go through, it needs to be sooner rather than later. Humphreys will want an opportunity to move forward. Just trying to see if we're all okay around the circuit. Some good battles all over the circuit at the moment. Good battles. Hassan, Evans, Lockett, Scott, Heron and Jeffs in the battle for 7th position. The leaders come through once again. Stevens still in front of Nathan Ty and Oakley Keatley. Ingram and Humphreys are about a second or so back, but it's still very tight at this early stage of proceedings. We've got traffic to deal with, first of all from Jake Bell, but the leaders are coming up, and Ingram is going to make the move to try and cover Charlie Humphreys, but Humphreys is through and in 4th place. Nice move there from Humphreys. All 3 of the leaders get by Jake Bell without issue there. So it's still Stevens, Ty and Keatley. It's going to be a 3-way battle for victory with Humphreys trying to close in on them. Ingram being shaken off rapidly. The 7th place battle is still absolutely amazing. And it's absolutely locked together as Scott now tries to make the move on the inside of Callum Lockett for 9th place. Doesn't get there. Hassan trying to shake off Craig Evans. Scott looking for a way past the inside of Callum Lockett. There's nothing between them as they battle away for position. This is brilliant. They all 6 of them charge forward together. Hassan, Evans, Lockett, Scott, Heron and Jeffs. Terrific racing between the 6 of them. The 3 leaders are still stretching out an advantage out front. Stevens at the helm, Ty in 2nd, Keatley 3rd. Still a bit of a way to go. 4 minutes plus 1 lap. So Stevens controls the pace out front. Bit of a mistake there from Nathan Ty. That's going to give Oakley Keatley a chance to close up. But Ella Stevens still working hard as Hassan holds them off again. Lockett has had to hang back a little bit, and that's Archie Heron through past Jamie Scott into P10. Craig Evans trying to stretch Aidan Hassan further forward. Great little tussle. Nathan Ty goes for the lead up at the horseshoe, and Ty is through and Keatley is through. They both got past Ella Stevens there. Stevens is going to get straight back in for 2nd place, trying to assert herself on the inside line. Keatley is still holding on. They bang wheels twice, 3 times, and Stevens has to hang back in 3rd position. So close, but Ty is now your leader. Keatley 2nd, Stevens 3rd. Still pushing hard. Great racing, and look at the squabble for 7th place. This is absolutely brilliant. We've got Aidan Hassan, Craig Evans, Lockett, now on the inside Scott, who's come back to 10th position. He's got Archie Heron on him, and also in there Lily Jeffs. The 6 of them still racing away, and that's a move for the lead. That's Keatley. Keatley takes over the lead, so that's the 3rd different leader in 1 lap. Oakley Keatley has now grabbed the lead of this one. They've got traffic to deal with. Nathan Ty goes with Keatley. Stevens gets there as well. Nathan Ty's going to go up the inside and take the lead of the race. They bang wheels. No, he doesn't. Stevens is now going to spit out and go for 2nd. Oh, this is close. Terrific stuff from them as they continue to scrap away for position. And Aidan Hassan still hanging on to the 7th place battle. That is Craig Evans and Callum Lockett right in there from Scott, Heron and Jeffs. Now Ella Stevens is going for the move on the inside of Nathan Ty for 2nd place, and she's got it. 2nd place Stevens. So she gets through and into P2. Nathan Ty is now going to try and work with Stevens to move further forward. P2 for Ella Stevens at the moment as she charges up towards Buttons, through the right-hander, and then into Pit Bend. So can Ella Stevens and Nathan Ty get back on terms with Oakley Keatley? If Oakley Keatley gets the win, it will be his first win in the Birelart UK Series overall, and he's definitely deserved it. Stevens goes for the lead. She leaves it late, and that's held her up. Nathan Ty's now back on the inside and takes 2nd place. Oakley Keatley looks like he's clearing away in the victory. Stevens will try again for 2nd place, but Nathan Ty is going to hang on to 2nd for the moment. Oakley Keatley, 1 minute and a half off the dais. Can Oakley Keatley pick up his first victory in the Cadet Championship? He was the lead rookie last year. Did so many great performances. Was on the podium last time at Landau. But can Oakley Keatley get his first win in the Birelart UK Series Cadets? It will be a big moment if he gets there. And it's totally and utterly deserved. Terrific racing all the way through thus far. Support from drivers all over the world watching as Ellis Stevens pushes on the back of Nathan Tye. This is another good opportunity as Ellis Stevens closes up on Nathan Tye. They're going to try and get the gap down. They've got a lot of traffic coming up. This is where it's going to be really close. Here comes Craig Evans making the move on Aidan Hassan down the main straight. Hassan's going to move to cover. He holds on to 7th place. Lockett's in there. So too. Lily Jeff's now in 10th place, having got past Scott and Heron. Really great racing from them as they all battle away. We're in the last few seconds of the race. I'm making 2 laps to go as Ellis Stevens and Nathan Tye continue to work closer to get onto the tail of Oakley Keatley. Can Oakley Keatley get the victory this time? Ellis Stevens and Nathan Tye are quite far back, but now Ellis Stevens is going to try and move Oakley Keatley further forward. Still the battle raging as Kylan Ingram has got further up in 4th place. Where's Charlie Humphreys? Humphreys has fallen away. Jamie Gurney is in there. Now wait a minute. What has happened to Charlie Humphreys? He's dropped back to 6th position. So something has happened to Humphreys. He's had a mistake somewhere or something. But we now go into the last lap. Here we go. Oakley Keatley, Ellis Stevens trying to hold it round the outside of Nathan Tye to get back in a 2nd position. Ellis Stevens trying to pick up more points here on Nathan Tye. They came together so close to the line, but I think Oakley Keatley's got the win for the first time in the Birelart UK Series Cadets. Oakley Keatley is going to hit the top spot, and what an amazing fight it's been for him to get there. Worked so hard last year, was the top rookie last year. Now he's going to come of age in the Cadets after a brilliant battle. He leads by over a second as Tye and Stevens continue to squabble. They're going to race for the line. Stevens could grab 2nd, but Keatley wins. Oakley Keatley gets his first win in the Birelart Cadets. Stevens beats Tye to the line for 2nd. Stevens gets 2nd. But what a moment that is for Oakley Keatley. At last he gets his first win in the Birelart UK Series Cadets. It's been a long time coming for Oakley Keatley, and now he is victorious at last, and that means he will start from pole position for the final. The 7th place battle is not over yet. Ingram 4th, Gurney 5th, and Humphreys 6th, but Hassan's going to get there in front of Evans and Lockett. Then it is Scott, Jeffs and Heron. What a scrap to the flag. Oh my goodness, that was awesome. But Oakley Keatley at last is victorious. He has worked so hard. He had so much bad luck last year when things were going well. And now Oakley Keatley finally gets his first taste of victory in the Birelart UK Series Cadets. And it is so well deserved. That was amazing racing. Fantastic job from Oakley Keatley. Picked his moment to perfection, got the lead and held on when Ellis Stevens made the move for the victory. Wasn't going to work. Oakley Keatley determined to win. And what a victory. He's done it. He's done it at last. And Oakley Keatley finally gets his first win in Cadets. And that was such a great drive to get there. Stevens 2nd from Tye, Ingram, Gurney, Humphreys. Aidan Hassan winning the 7th place battle from Evans, Lockett, Scott, Jeffs and Heron. Then it's Chase Sharp from Josh Turnbull, Hudson Cross, Jamie Warner and Jake Bell. Well, that was fantastic. Oakley Keatley gets his first win in the Birelart UK Series Cadets. It's great to get new winners on the dais, and here at Clay Pigeon, he really has worked hard for that one. Such a worthy victory for Oakley Keatley. No longer a rookie, no longer a new boy, and definitely a victor in fine style. Absolutely terrific job. And a really great battle. They put in an absolutely fantastic job. They've been waiting for that one for a long time. And it's finally come to them. And totally and utterly deserved victory. Really good fight. Well, that's a big deal for Oakley Keatley. And I'm sure Rob and Oakley will be celebrating. Barry Ashcroft sends his best wishes, by the way, boys. Fantastic race. He's watching. Well done, Oakley and Rob. Brilliant stuff. Amazing racing. And it was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? Well, that is the Birelart Cadets, and that sets the grid for their final later on. However, next up, it is the juniors, who always deliver just as much, if not more, action.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Birelart Juniors next. It's been a really good day at the office and a great battle at the front between Harry Graham and Callum Gunning. Callum Gunning, for the 4th time out of 4, victorious after his fantastic form at Landau. It's a lot closer here at Clay Pigeon, but he left his very best till the very last lap. A great way to get the victory there into turn 2 on the final lap, and he has won a brilliant race as a result of that one. So really good battling, and now he puts himself into prime position for this pre-final, which could be the toughest race of the weekend from his point of view, defending that first position into turn 1. He's got to make good use of that formation lap or two, and then he will put himself in a good spot. Harry Graham there in second position alongside him, and he is chatting away there with Tom Harvey and his pit crew. Tom Harvey there in third position for his second race weekend in juniors. That is an absolutely amazing achievement. Straight out of cadet into juniors this year, and there's a 40cc difference in power, and he's right there at the front end. Louis Ross should be there with him, of course, but he had a lot of bad luck towards the end of that race, and a real shame. He should have been in that mix, but hopefully Louis Ross can charge his way forward and get back into the top 6. With that kind of speed we know him to have, it will be a tough job, but he can do it. Scott Huntley is in there, along with Nicky Taylor and Sam Cunliffe, Ben Gartside, and Morgan Cole in the mix as well. So a lot of top drivers moving their way forward. Toby Baldry will start 9th after a post-race penalty, so he now goes 9th position. And alongside him is the lead rookie in this weekend thus far, Alicia Parmowski, although it very nearly wasn't, because Lewis Berry was literally about 4 millimetres behind her at the flag, so close to the victory in that little tussle. Tom Davison fought his way back as well in 12th position, and he will be there on the 6th row of the grid. Great to see that there's great banter and camaraderie between the two rookies at the front end of their battle. Parmowski and Berry, lots of thumbs up and good congratulations for great racing. That's one of the great things about this championship, as well as being great feisty racing and great competition, there is great sporting spirit. I like to talk about Birelart UK Series by saying that this paddock really does put the sport in motorsport. It really is great stuff. Speaking of which, let's talk to the lead rookie from the cadets that we've just seen out on track. A much better run from the first race, but well, Craig Evans, a great race there, and that was such an epic battle with you, Hassan, and all the rest of it. That must have been pretty scary at times.
Yeah, at one point I had my front bumper right up behind Aiden. But yeah, it was a good battle, and I think the first lap definitely won me that top rookie spot, because I just got past most of the rookies that were in front of me, and all I had to do was just keep the pace and trying to get further up.
Well, you weren't bothered about the rookies after that point. You were after Aiden Hassan's place like a fine-tooth comb. You really thought you could have him at one point. It was so close.
Yeah, I just couldn't get it. He just has the experience and the speed that I don't. But hopefully, maybe next year I could get it done on him.
Well, of course, there's one race to go, and anything can happen in that final, and it's looking likely that you'll be well inside the top 10 if you have another race like that one. Top rookie still on top for the moment?
Yeah, probably.
Well done, Craig. Good job.
Thanks.
Really, really good racing from Craig in that one, to be fair. You've just seen the Junior 100 pre-final grid there on your screens if you've been watching on the Birelart UK Series Facebook page. It is going to be such an amazing race, this one. The pre-final tends to get a few more choice overtaking moves out there. Lots of people watching at home, including Stuart Brierley, who was watching the stream on that one. Well done, Oakley. Good luck to Dylan in the junior pre-final. Obviously, Dylan is going to be in this one, and he's tucked up in there behind Lewis Berry on the starting grid, the 101. You can tell it's Dylan Brierley, despite the fact that it's a Birelart liveried car, because those very stereotypical Dylan Brierley flashes of light green are still there on the kart. They've personalised it very, very smartly there. It's always good to see the colour scheme of Dylan Brierley, and it's been maintained with that little hint of lime green in the junior brigade. He's lining up alongside Dylan Reed, who had so much bad luck in that one. He and Tom Davison compromised on that first lap, and they would have been fighting, I think, amongst the victors in that race had it not been for them falling back. They made some good recoveries, but there's a lot more time to make up from their point of view. Jack Rigg will want to move forward and get some more overtaking moves in there as well. Had a good scrap in there with Connor Stanton and Vijay Ramlal. So hopefully there'll be more great races from those guys. It is so tight in this junior paddock. You've got to be so impressed by what these guys can do when you consider that in qualifying they're all separated by under a second. And it is so close. And whoever makes the best of it on the day in the races is the one that's going to come through for the victory. But one guy who could be an interesting one to keep an eye on through the course of the day is the number 4, Nicky Taylor. He's there on the 3rd row of the grid. He was on the 4th row for the previous one. He started 7th. He's now 5th. If he makes the same kind of progress, he'll be 3rd on the grid for the final. And if he makes the same progress, he'll be on the top of the day. So I think that's kind of his plan, really, just to pick off 1 or 2, if he can, as the day progresses. And you never know. Nicky Taylor was another one of those drivers who's hoping to taste his first sweet taste of victory. And he'll be wanting to get the top spot. Callum Gunning and Harry Graham on the front row know all about winning in the Birelart UK Series Juniors. They've both done it. They know how to get the job done. So let's see if they can continue on that sort of form. Harry Graham will want to take a victory out of this one. Callum Gunning got him last time. How will he cope with it this time? However, just behind them, they've got 2 very feisty drivers. Tom Harvey, who has taken to the junior category like a duck to water, and he is going very quickly considering he is a brand new driver to the juniors, straight out of cadets. And they're leaving his preparation, I have to say, till the last possible minute so that he can be ready. But Scott Huntley alongside him made great progress in that race to move his way forward to 4th. So good job. 5th on the road, of course. Unfortunately, it was Toby Baldry who was docked by a penalty. Completely not his fault from his point of view. So he will there be on the 5th row of the grid, just in behind Morgan Cole and alongside Alicia Barmowski. But considering how fast he was over 1 lap yesterday, Baldry is unlikely to finish as low as 9th in this race. So there's going to be some great overtaking in this one. And we've still seen a bit of a shuffle of the deck. From the starting grid of the last race to the finish of this one, there's been a bit of a shuffle of the deck in the top 10 quite considerably, with a few drivers going down, a few drivers going up. So we should hopefully see another race like that one. And one man who's got some support from home, Andrew Murray, keeping an eye on Louis Ross to fight his way back through the field. I'm sure he will, the kind of pace he's shown this weekend. He was as fast, if not slightly off, and I'm talking like 100th or so of a second away from Tom Harvey's initial pace. Don't forget, he started on the 2nd row of that earlier race alongside Tom Harvey, so he can get back up to the top 5. All he needs to do is just keep that self-belief and that faith sky high, and he'll just pick them off one by one. It is a tough race, though, and it is a tough challenge. Andy Cox just talking with our pit gate marshal at the front end of the pit lane. And as the time ticks down, we will be ready to send them off for what I think is going to be standardly a 2-lap formation, because it seems to have been that way for pretty much all of the classes thus far. I think it will remain a 2-lap formation throughout. But the drivers will get themselves underway. They have to keep their tyres and their brakes under temperature. They don't want to do too much work on them because the temperature here is already quite high. And we've already mentioned the fact that with the air temperature being about 22, 23 degrees, the circuit temperature is going to be about 4 to 5 degrees more than that. So that's going to melt the tyres big style. All of their hard work yesterday in the practice session will now come to fruition here today. All of the work they've done with tyres is going to really show. And you'll see the drivers who have been very, very sensible. Maybe not necessarily gone as fast as they could have gone yesterday, but have worked a lot on tyres. And I have to say, a lot of Callum Gunning's weekend is now starting to make a lot of sense. Wasn't as fast yesterday, but I tell you what, the work they did with tyres, that's where they're now at the front of the field. So it seems as though now there's going to be a really interesting swing between these drivers in the top 10. The pit gate green flag goes, and we're going out on circuit. Here we go. And Harry Graham very nearly struggles to get out of the pits, but now they are getting out onto the circuit. Clay Pigeon, always entertaining in the Birelart UK Series, and we were always in for a tough battle. We're going to get another one of those here in the junior pre-final with Callum Gunning and Harry Graham on that front row of the grid. They'll go around for 2 formation laps before we go racing here. And there's so many battles within battles here. Everybody trying to take a victory off Callum Gunning. He has won 4 from 4 thus far. Well, will he be able to do it again here at Clay Pigeon to make it 5 from 5? There's going to be a second rolling lap, I think, as the drivers are getting themselves into position. They will go round a second time, says Andy Cox on the straight. So they'll go round once more. And that is to give Louis Ross a bit of a chance to keep up with the junior brigade. This is such an interesting battle in 2018 because we still don't really know who's got the ultimate pace, because Callum Gunning has been close and has won the early races. But can he sustain it throughout the entirety of the season? I think this is the weekend when we'll really know. But Harry Graham, alongside him on that front row, he'll want a clean start. He'll want a really strong start. Tom Harvey and Scott Huntley together on the front row, or the second row of the grid. Then it is Nicky Taylor and Sam Cunliffe. And as the drivers are now on their rolling laps, they will get the rows neat and tidy. That is as perfect and clean a start as you're ever going to get. And now the drivers will get themselves up to speed as they come off the final turn. The engine revs rise, and we'll get ready to go racing here at Clay Pigeon. And it is go! Away we go racing, and it is a cracking getaway from the front. Is that going to be Graham into the lead initially? Yes, it is. So Harry Graham takes the early days from Gunning. It's very close further back as everybody jostles for position in the S's, and it looks to me as though that is a very strong start. But Graham is the early leader. Gunning second, and Nicky Taylor's in third position. What a start from Taylor. That is amazing. Up in a P3 already. Wow, he's off like a rocket. Nicky Taylor to P3. Fourth position, Scott Huntley. Right in there is Tom Harvey. Then it is Gartside, sorry. Then it is Cunliffe, Morgan Cole, Baldry, Berry. Then it is Davison in front of Palmowski. So what a start to the race this has been from the man in the lead of it. Oh, that's a bit of a moment from Vijay Ramlal. Louis Ross goes right round the outside at turn 2 and gets the place. Great overtake from Louis Ross. He is charging forward. But it's Harry Graham who leads. Gunning second. Nicky Taylor in third position. Fourth place, that is Scott Huntley. Fifth is Tom Harvey. Then it is Ben Gartside. A great start for him. Sam Cunliffe in seventh. Eighth is Morgan Cole. Baldry ninth. Berry 10th. Davison, Reed, Palmowski, Briley, Rigg, Ross, Stanton and Ramlal. This is going to be a really interesting battle as Nicky Taylor holds on in front of Scott Huntley through the S's. Looking to build on this. He doesn't need to finish higher than this for the moment. Third position is exactly where he wants to be. A top 3 would be great going into the final. If he can get another cracking start, he can control the pace of the race later. But we still haven't even got into the business phase of the race yet. So Nicky Taylor being there in third position is a great start. Graham is your leader. Gunning second. Here comes Huntley alongside Nicky Taylor. Taylor holds him off. Tom Harvey in fifth. Sixth is Sam Cunliffe now. So Cunliffe's made the move. Gartside is seventh. Baldry's up to eighth past Morgan Cole. Davison 10th ahead of Dylan Reed and Lewis Berry, who is now edged back into Alicia Palmowski. The rookies' battle continues. So, magnificent racing up front as Callum Gunning decides to work with Harry Graham yet again to stretch out the advantage. But Harry Graham knows now that Callum Gunning's big trick is that move into turn 2 on the last lap, so he will not be ready to give him the place again. Tom Harvey, meanwhile, has caught right up to the back of Scott Huntley. So Tom Harvey's having a great run, and he finds himself in a good position to try and challenge for fourth place. Nicky Taylor hangs on to third, Huntley fourth, fifth is Tom Harvey. Great racing between those three, and I think they're going to need to work together if they want to win this one. Sixth is Cunliffe. He's got a challenge from Ben Gartside and Toby Baldry. The juniors having a great race. Morgan Cole is ninth. Tom Davison's up to 10th, and Baldry makes the move on Gartside. So Baldry makes the move there, up into 7th place on Ben Gartside, and that puts him up a position. So it's Graham and Gunning, Taylor, Huntley, Harvey, Cunliffe, then Baldry and Gartside, Morgan Cole and Tom Davison. Fantastic racing thus far here at Clay Pigeon for the juniors as they run out in the lead. Harry Graham and Callum Gunning. The race is on between these two. The leading seed versus the championship leader. Nicky Taylor right in there in third position. That's not a bad place to be right now. Fourth place, that's Huntley. Then Tom Harvey, Cunliffe. A really good run from Baldry. Gartside's in there. Then it's Cole, Davison and Reed. They're having a great scrap. Davison looking to go for the move on Morgan Cole. Hasn't quite got the gusto to get there yet. Dylan Reed's right behind. Then we've got Berry and Palmowski. Here comes Louis Ross. Louis Ross is on a real charge. Right round the outside of Alicia Palmowski. Can he hold that to the inside line? We'll double check as they come through. But I think Louis Ross had Palmowski round the outside of turn 1 and knitted his way through. Yes, he did. What a move from Louis Ross. Absolutely terrific. So Louis Ross is on the charge forward. That puts him up to 13th place. So a good run this from Louis Ross. Then it's Palmowski, Dylan Briley, Jack Brigg, Connor Stanton and Vijay Ramlal struggling for pace at the moment. There's definitely some kind of mechanical problem for Vijay Ramlal. He's never usually this far back off the pace. And he was within a second in qualifying, so I have a feeling that there's a technical problem for Ramlal, keeping him from the top of his game. But we've got Graham and Gunning still battling away. Callum Gunning is so good at this, just running in second place, waiting for his moment to pounce. He's really good at reading the races. Taylor's doing a grand job there in third position, actually. Nicky Taylor keeping on to this in third place. And he's got a lot of challenge from Huntley and Harvey. But there in third position, he's still got good pace. Baldry has Cunliffe now right behind him. So Baldry's made the move for sixth. Cunliffe in seventh from guard side. Then it's Morgan Cole, Tom Davison, Dylan Reed from Berry, Ross, Parmowski, Briley, Rigg, Stanton and Ramlal. Terrific scraps in the field. We've got the third place scrap going on. Parmowski's at the head of a bit of a train with Louis Ross only a couple of cart lengths in front of her. And Lewis Berry has fallen back, so Parmowski has got into the leading rookie position once more. Really good stuff. So Parmowski versus Berry, this is going to be their rivalry all season long. It's going to be an amiable rivalry, but a great battle as Morgan Cole hangs on in front of Dylan Reed there through turn one. That was very close. Callum Gunning sets a new personal best. It's not the fastest lap of the race, but it is a new personal best. Absolutely terrific stuff right now. Nicky Taylor still hangs on to third place. Parmowski's got a bit of distance between herself and Berry in the rookie battle. And then behind them we've got Jack Rigg going wheel to wheel with Dylan Briley and Connor Stanton. So great races and great battles wherever you look in the field. Still Ben Gardside chasing down Sam Cunliffe on the main straight. We've got Cole, Reed and now Davison battling away for, that's going to be 8th place. So those three drivers in the top 10. Morgan Cole, Dylan Reed and Tom Davison. You're watching them on the stream. Great racing as Morgan Cole hangs on in there, but Dylan Reed is giving him a lot of pressure. Here comes Reed. Morgan Cole defends beautifully and Tom Davison dives in there, pounces for the move and gets 9th place. What a move from Davison. Now Reed's going to come back on the inside, gets the place back, up in a P9 once more. Oh, magnificent racing. Every time there's an overtake, they come straight back for the retaliation. Gunning, another new personal best in second place, trying to chip away at Graham's advantage. Third place, still Taylor, Huntley and Harvey is in there in P5 still, the 1-2-4. He's ready to pounce, but catching them all is Toby Baldry. Baldry's catching them all, so there could still be a chance at third place for Baldry. He's right in there. Taylor, Huntley, Harvey, Baldry. 4 of them now going for third position. Great racing this is, as they continue to charge forward. Cunliffe is hanging on in there in front of Gardside as well. Battling away for position. Morgan Cole's got Dylan Reed and Tom Davison scrapping away too. This is one heck of a fight as they now race for 9th place. Cole, Reed and Davison. Nicky Taylor hangs on to third in front of Hartley, Harvey and Baldry. Baldry looks feisty here. He does not want to settle for 6th place. He's worked his way up from 9th and now he's there. Nicky Taylor trying to get away from Huntley as Baldry makes the move on Harvey and gets there for P5. So Baldry in a P5. Graham is still pushing very hard to try and stay ahead of Callum Gunning. 2 minutes and 15 plus a lap. Nicky Taylor third, Huntley fourth, then it's Harvey. Then it's Baldry, then it's Harvey. Sam Cunliffe has just set a personal best in 7th place ahead of Ben Gardside. 9th position, that's Morgan Cole, then Dylan Reed, and then it is Tom Davison. But those three are having a terrific scrap. 12th is now Louis Ross. Great fight back from Ross as he now puts himself in P12. Then it is the rookie battle, Alicia Parmowski versus Lewis Berry. Then we've got Jack Rigg, Dylan Briley, Connor Stanton and Vijay Ramlal. Still the battle rages at the front end of the field as they try and chip away at each other's advantages. 3rd place is the battle to watch right now because that's Toby Baldry on the back of Scott Huntley for P4, trying to keep up with Nicky Taylor. This is a good run from Baldry. He may get a chance here on Huntley. Huntley trying to close up on Nicky Taylor as they go into the long hairpins. Through the right, up to the horseshoe, through the left. And there goes Baldry on the inside for P4. Baldry's there in 4th. Great fight back this from Baldry, and now Dylan Reed's made the move on Morgan Cole for 9th place. Great driving, and Nicky Taylor there in 3rd position, still getting away. This is going to be enough for Nicky Taylor to hang on to 3rd place. Personal best from Graham, personal best from Nicky Taylor. They are pushing hard. And now Callum Gunning is on the back of Harry Graham. Now this is going to be important because they're closing up on Vijay Ramlal to lap him. Blue flags will come out. But is there going to be a chance for Gunning to close up on Graham? Has he been looking after the tyres better than Harry Graham? Here he comes. Graham gets through. Is the door going to be left open? Yes, it is. Callum Gunning impeded by about 1/10 of a second. But now Harry Graham has got him on the tail. 30 seconds to go. That's 1 lap plus 1 more. Dylan Reid has now got Morgan Cole and Tom Davison being chased by Louis Ross. Davison's trying to come the long way round. Sam Cunliffe sets a new personal best. So does Cole. So does Louis Ross. Berry and Rigg likewise. They're going to race all the way to the death here. And Nicky Taylor has gone back past Toby Baldry after Baldry made the initial move. Taylor's in third once more. And there's a great scrap between Davison and Ross. Ross gets past Tom Davison. Good move there. Lewis Berry's closing back up on Alicia Barmowski. And here comes Gunning. Last lap. Will Gunning make the same move? No. Harry Graham holds him up. He's going to try and cut back across. Gunning's going to do it again. Gunning's there on the inside and gets back through into the lead. Gunning retakes the lead once more. Graham just cannot keep him back. For the second race in a row, Gunning has made the move on Graham. Now Graham's going to make the fight back. Is Gunning going to be able to hang on in there? Graham's going to try one more time into the final turn. Can Graham go for the move? Gunning's going to keep it honest. Graham will try and get the switch back, but it's too late. Callum Gunning's got him again. What a victory. Gunning beats Graham yet again. Nicky Taylor third. Baldry fourth from Huntley, Harvey, Cunliffe and Gardside. Oh, what a sweep over the line. It's Reid in 9th place. Louis Ross fights back to 10th. Louis Ross in 10th place at the finish. What an end to his race. Cole is 11th. Davison is 12th. Barmowski is the lead rookie again in 13th from Berry. Then Rigg, Briley, Stanton and Ramler. I've got no breath left. How does Callum Gunning find that move every single time? Absolutely amazing how he does it. Callum Gunning has done it again. That makes it 5 from 5 for Callum Gunning, and he leaves it till the last lap every single time. Graham had him defended in the first part of the Apex. In the second part, Gunning had it nailed. What a race again. The Birelart Juniors are so good at this. And Callum Gunning makes it 5 in a row. You'd think that with one driver winning 5 races out of 5, it would be boring. No way. No way, Jose. Graham is only 0.057 back at the flag. Gunning in his A game is so hard to beat. Third is Nicky Taylor. What a fight back from Nicky Taylor. He'll start on the second row for the final. Toby Baldry have great fight back to 4th from Scott Huntley and Tom Harvey. Sam Cunliffe is in 7th from Gartside. Dylan Reid and the fight back king Louis Ross back to 10th from the back of the grid. Then it's Morgan Cole, Tom Davison, Alicia Barmowski, the top rookie ahead of Lewis Berry. And then it is Jack Rigg, Dylan Briley, Connor Stanton and Vijay Ramlal. Superb racing again from the Birelart Juniors. They always put on a show. But if they're going to give us great entertainment, you want to stick around because the 125 Super Elites are going to try and outdo them.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars.
Just when you think you've seen the best you're going to see in one day's racing, the juniors come out and show us that. Well, we've got the Super Elites coming next, the 125cc's, and they really will put on a show. At the front of the grid, once again, it is going to be Sam Faulkner. After a great performance in the first race, Matthew Pearce was fastest in qualifying. All he needs to do is basically the reverse of what Sam Faulkner did to him, and he can have a great race controlling the pace out front. That first corner is going to be very intense. Tyrone Stansfield, alongside him on the grid, is going to be Sam Dimolo. Where they started initially and where they finished. A good fight back from Harry Barlow puts him on the third row of the grid after some great battling. And alongside him on the grid will be the best of the rest, if you like. Richard Evans, the number 2, still working very hard indeed there. Runner-up in the Super Elites last year. And he's got a much tougher fight on his hands in 2018. Much the fact the drivers are relishing that fight. A great race for Ian Williams in the last one. When he's not racing, he's obviously filming for Alpha Live, but here today he is putting in a great performance. 7th position, and on that inside line, along with the first, third and fifth drivers, alongside him is going to be Tom Massarella fighting his way forward. And then we have two men very, very close in terms of their one-lap pace. Michael Roots starting from P9 on that inside line. Alongside him on the grid is Jim Rainbird. That's going to be one heck of a battle, isn't it, as those drivers continue with gusto. Drivers getting to the business end of the race with the cadets and juniors. They only have one more race to go. So a rundown of the grid. Sam Faulkner and Matthew Pearce on the front from Tyrone Stansfield, and alongside him Sam Dimolo, Harry Barlow and Richard Evans, as we know. Ian Williams and Thomas Massarella on the 4th row, from Michael Roots and Jim Rainbird on the 5th. Jason Bradbury will line up beside the ever-performing Dan Walden, as he's there on the 6th row of the grid, making progress from qualifying and working his way through the field steadily. Ben Hitch has got the returning Jonathan Corrie alongside him. Ben Hitch, the leading rookie. John Corrie doing a fantastic job to fight it out for the supremacy there and in the top half of the grid. Carl Watt and Neil Fisher. Fisher made up 2 places in that one. We'll want to make up a few more, but it's so close in the 2018 season. And obviously with a tough driver alongside him in Carl Watt, that will be tough to achieve initially. Rounding out the top 20, we have George Friday, who provides us with the world's furthest fan base, all the way from down under. They are watching, and they are keeping him very honest, and George very pleased to hear about the support. But yes, we are worldwide Birelart UK Series, because even down under they have switched off the Barbie, and they are there in 17th on the grid. Elliot Stanley is alongside George Friday on the starting grid. Then we have Aaron Banks and Sean Port rounding out the top 20. And then we have the final 6, all very closely matched. Will Checkley, Jamie Hunnisit, Matt Ogle, Mark Lawrence, Dave Burns and David Darling. And then 27th position on the starting grid should be Phil Patience after his first race back, replacing his son Solomon in the number 210 kart. Well, 27 of them in this field, all very closely matched. 24 of them in qualifying were separated by under a second. And that's how close it is in this field, with a lot of people taking an interest in the seniors, and quite a few of them on the sidelines watching or having to miss this round of the championship. Hopefully we'll see them back in time for Fullbeck in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks after that, of course, we head to Wilton Mill to complete the round of the championship that we started back in March before we got buried under 2 or 3 inches of snow. I hate snow nowadays. Then we sorry, I am a spoil sport. I am a Grinch. I can't help it. Then we have... after the Wilton Mill round, we go to Glanagorse Park in Wales, one of the most picturesque circuits in the country. And then, of course, we move on from there to Hooton Park, just on my doorstep, up in Chester. Don't worry, we'll give you a plentiful nightlife there on the first weekend of September in Chester. Got plenty of places to hang out. I'll show you them all, folks. Then we have the penultimate round of the championship at Shennington in October, before we conclude the series in November with... that fantastic circuit once again, Wilton Mill, for the 2nd time this season. 3rd if you count March. I don't count March. I don't like snow, so I don't count it. Anyway, we're going to have some great racing over the course of the season, and that 2nd round of the championship still underway here at Clay Pigeon. But after last time out at Llandau, the 1st round of the championship 4 weeks ago, it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out of this one on top of the tree, because we had that amazing battle between Sam Faulkner and Matthew Pearce initially in that first race, but once Faulkner got into the lead, he started to break clear. Has he peaked too soon, or has Matthew Pearce left something in reserve, or is this going to be another Sam Faulkner gravy train out front? We'll have to see and figure out how things go. But Tyrone Stansfield and Sam Dimolo will not want him to disappear out into the distance. Amazing to see 3 2017 champions in the top 4 places of this grid. Sam Faulkner, of course, the Super Elites champion from last year, when the 125cc's were separated into 2 classes. Tyrone Stansfield moving up as the reigning junior champion from last year, and Sam Dimolo, the reigning Super Masters champion, when again that was separate from the Super Elites. Now they're all combined into one championship, with the minimum weight for Super Elites going up, the minimum weight for Super Masters going down, and it's all one grid, the Senior Championship at Birelart UK. And it is such an amazing championship now. And the gorgeous summer's day weather you can see if you're watching the stream here on the Birelart UK Series Facebook page. Send us a message. Who are you rooting for? Absolutely fantastic stuff. Alex Pinnell just confirming, yep, watching round 2 from Melbourne, Australia. That is as far as this feed is reaching to the other side of the globe. We've got people all around the world watching the Birelart UK Series, one of the top championships in Great Britain. And as we know, the British Championships of karting are the best form of karting in the world. Nobody does it quite like the Brits. And if this is one of the top championships in Britain, that means it must be one of the best championships in the world. Simple as that. So with Sam Faulkner and Matthew Pearce on that front row of the grid, Tyrone Stansfield and Sam Dimolo behind him, that top 4 is going to be very close at the first corner. But whoever gets that jump into the first S's is basically going to have the opportunity to dictate the pace throughout. Plus, the race is going to be a little bit longer. We're further into the day, so the heat has been cooking a little bit more the circuit. So the air temperature's higher, the track temperature's higher. We're going to get into the melty tyre overheating time of the day when delamination is going to be a real watchword. Everybody's going to be very focused on how to look after the tyres through the course of the day. And those who do it better than the others are the ones who are going to finish further up. Really exciting battles guaranteed with the 125cc's. Emma Checkley watching at home for Will. Ed and I are watching. Don't you worry, Will. They're keeping their eyes peeled on what happens. So there's great racing to come as Will Checkley fights his way forward. Made up 4 places in the last one from the grid. Hopefully there's a few more places to make up from the second race of the weekend. But the pre-final giving more points than the heats. So obviously there's a lot more incentive for drivers to start pushing it in this one. Although the race is longer. So keeping an eye on those tyres is still very much a paramount concern. Long pause in between races, but the drivers will now get themselves ready for the action. And actually, while we've got a pause, let's talk to the man who did exactly what he set out to do, fought his way from 5th on the grid to 3rd position in the pre-final of the juniors. Nicky Taylor, that's not a bad run from you. And to be fair, 3rd position is just about the perfect finish from that one.
Yeah, I mean, we just, on the start, we got through, we pushed through in the first corner, and then I just kind of set out to kind of coax through on 3rd because Harry and Callum had just run away with it at that point, and my kart was just going off because we had a few iffy bits with the settings. But I think for the final, we'll get the settings right, and hopefully we should be in with a good shot at winning, and we're on the inside.
I was just going to say, because you started the earlier heat from 7th and made it to 5th. You started the pre-final from 5th and finished 3rd. All you've got to do now is make up 2 more places and you're going to get the victory in the most important race of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it would be good to snatch a win off Harry and Callum, because obviously Callum winning 4 of them, me winning none ever. And yeah, it would be good to just snatch a win off them, but it's all depending on what the kart feels like and if it's ready and good enough for the final.
So how important, now that we're at the very hottest part of the day, with the tyres really starting to cook now, how is this going to be a factor come the final? Because this is all about how you look after your tyres. Did you manage to get on top of it yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, we know around Clay from last year that this track is very tyre heavy, and if you haven't preserved them well enough throughout warm-up and the first 2 races, then you're just going to struggle alone in the final because it is very tyre heavy, and if you don't manage them well, you're just going to be at the back because they will just fall off a cliff.
So you have to race smart as much as race hard here.
Yeah, if you race smart and conserve your tyres, you might not be the quickest, but you'll be in with a good shout of winning because of the tyres will be ready and better than the front 2.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to the last race. Good luck, Nicky, and hopefully it's a really strong race for you.
Thank you.
Exciting stuff. Brilliant battles, and it is going to be a fantastic race because the Super 125 Elites are now ready to go. The whistle goes, the green flag flies, let's race. Drivers head out onto the circuit, and the tension is high here for the pre-final as everybody wants to make a good show of it. And as the drivers head out onto the circuit, we will have some really exciting battles to talk about. The drivers getting themselves into position once again around the circuit. And it will be tough, it will be tight, it will be tense. That race earlier on from the Super Elite 125s showing a really good threat from Matthew Pearce from pole position, but Sam Faulkner getting away from him in the early stages. This race is all about the start. If Sam Faulkner can break away and get out in front, then it's all over. If Matthew Pearce can get on the inside of him in the early doors and start to chip away at his advantage, then we've got a competition. But this is so hard to predict. We don't really know who is going to have the better draw of it. But it will be so close, and it's going to be an incredibly intense fight, as it always is in the Birelart UK Series paddock. But now, after their second rolling lap, the carts will form up. Sam Faulkner on the inside line, Matthew Pearce on the outside line. But Faulkner will hold the inside line for turn 2, will be on the outside line for turn 1. So this is going to be an interesting one. Can he hold it round the outside and maintain his lead? Or is this going to be about Matthew Pearce snatching it from him in the early doors? This is all going to be about their start. And they're going to go round again, we're told. So they are going to go round for a third time. So for some reason, they have elected to throw the start again. And they will now go round for a third rolling lap. So as if the tension wasn't tense enough, they now have to go round for one more rolling lap. But the battle between Sam Faulkner and Matthew Pearce is obviously going to be very tight. Tyrone Stansfield wants to be a little bit closer to it this time, off the line. So it's now all about whether he can get there. And of course, in there with him, we're also going to have a challenge from Sam Dimolo and Harry Barlow. Richard Evans is going to be close up front. Ian Williams, Tom Massarella, Michael Roots and Jim Rainbird. Jason Bradbury, Dan Walden, Ben Hitch, Jonathan Corrie. Lots of talent in this field. And it's still unclear who's going to get the jump. But if Sam Faulkner gets away and clear, it's pretty much, from his point of view, done and dusted. It's all about the start. Can Matthew Pearce put one over on him? They've got to dictate the pace of the race. They will ease up on pace. And now there's going to be an engine revs rise. Pearce has got a good start. I think he's going to get the better start. And he leads. Matthew Pearce takes the lead. So that is exactly what Matthew Pearce wanted to do. He beat Sam Faulkner to turn 1. And now it really is game on. Pearce leads, Faulkner second, Dimolo's up to third, Stansfield in 4th place. And straight away Faulkner's trying to come back at it. So now we're going to get to see for the first time this season Sam Faulkner versus Sam Dimolo. This was what he wanted to do. Sam Dimolo going head to head with Sam Faulkner. For the first time we're going to see it happen. Little bit of a moment further back as Tom Massarella and Michael Roots have gone into the wars, and they are now further back. But Matthew Pearce leads it, Faulkner second, Dimolo third. It's time for Sam Dimolo to bring out his A game. Can he get one over on Faulkner? Faulkner's challenging for Pearce already. Faulkner's right in there. And Sam Dimolo's close as well. Sam Dimolo really wants a piece of this. Faulkner's trying to get past Pearce already. Dimolo trying to wind him up. The 125cc battle is already gusto. Faulkner wants to break clear and get away, and there's been an incident further back. That's George Friday going sideways, and Will Checkley's gone there with him. Here comes Sam Faulkner through turn 1. Can he get the lead? He goes for it immediately, and he's there on the inside. Pearce runs wide. Dimolo's up the inside of Faulkner. Has to hang back. Faulkner's compromised. Here comes Sam Dimolo, trying again to come through. Oh, this is an amazing squabble. Sam Dimolo now second behind Faulkner. Can Dimolo challenge after Faulkner? Pearce is down to third. Then it's Stansfield, Barlow, Williams. That's Evans first, then Williams. My apologies. But now it's Sam Faulkner being chased by Sam Dimolo. Come on, Matthew, help me out, says Sam Dimolo over his shoulder. And can they make a move to get through? Pearce is going to get back in a second. And he's there. Dimolo is held up. Stansfield through to third. Stansfield gets on the inside and takes third place. Great run there from Stansfield. A bit of a moment from Barlow. Evans is going to go round the outside and get the place. Evans is up to P5. So after all of that squabble, it's as you were. And Matthew Pearce is trying against all hope at the moment to close up on Sam Faulkner. This is such a great battle as Stansfield now has Sam Dimolo to play with. They're going to work together to move forward. Excellent stuff. Really good racing at the moment here at Clay Pigeon. Evans in P5 in front of Harry Barlow. Massarella going to try and come around the outside of Phil Patience to make up a place. But this is awesome stuff. Faulkner, Pearce, Stansfield, Dimolo, Evans, Barlow, Williams now in front of Dan Walden. Walden's made his way up to 8th. Then it's Bradbury and Elliot Stanley in the top 10. Great comeback drive from Elliot Stanley. Now in 10th place. Great racing. So as they continue to battle on down the main straight, the field's starting to spread out a little bit, but not much. So the racing continues on here. That's Michael Roots making a comeback as he tries to come around the outside of Dave Burns into turn 1. Doesn't quite make it there that time. Will Checkley's right behind him. But out in front, Faulkner's not getting away from Matthew Pearce quite as quickly as he was last time. He's had to fight his way back to the lead, of course. Initially getting an opportunity and then just diving for the move on Matthew Pearce and then squeezing him out, leaving him absolutely no room at all. So Faulkner in front of Pearce. Second place is Stansfield. Third place is Stansfield behind Matthew Pearce. So it's Faulkner, Pearce, Stansfield, Dimolo, Evans, Barlow. Being out here on the balcony at Clay Pigeon, I can hardly hear myself think with the noise of these beautiful 125cc iArmy engines on the Vega tyres, on the Birelart chassis. Great racing and absolutely magnificent battling. This time, Matthew Pearce is definitely closer to Sam Faulkner out in front than he was in the previous race, so he has got a much better chance of it. Stansfield is there in front of Dimolo. Evans is being caught by Harry Barlow. Then it's Williams, Walden, Bradbury and Stanley. Then it is Ben Hitch. Well, it was. Now it's John Corrie. Ben Hitch, Neil Fisher, Carl Watt, Jim Rainbird, Sean Port and Aaron Banks. Tyrone Stansfield still pushing away from Sam Dimolo. But Harry Barlow's giving a lot of pressure to Richard Evans in the battle for 5th position. Looks like we've had somebody go off over the chicane and get back on again. George Friday's trying to make up the ground. He lost a bit earlier. He's in there with the likes of Matt Ogle, Mark Lawrence, Jamie Hunnisett and David Darling. So some great racing as they battle away. And in fact, that's Michael Roots in that little mixture as well. So Michael Roots is in the mix, trying to make up a place or two. Pearce sets his personal best, but still there is that gap appearing between himself and Sam Faulkner. Faulkner leading the way. Second is Pearce, third is Stansfield, fourth is Sam Dimolo. Evans fifth from Harry Barlow. Then it is Ian Williams in front of Dan Walden and Jason Bradbury. Oh, and that's a bit of a problem there for Neil Fisher. Neil Fisher, after a nightmare Landau, Neil Fisher has got a mechanical problem. Up towards the pit lane he will go. And Neil Fisher is out of this race. The E-Plate champion from 2016, Neil Fisher, is having an absolute nightmare. Now, Tyrone Stansfield is dropping Sam Dimolo, and he is breathing down Matthew Pearce's neck. So Tyrone Stansfield has had enough of being in third position. He wants to go for second on Matthew Pearce. So Sam Faulkner getting away in the lead. Can Tyrone Stansfield get in a second place past Matthew Pearce? This is going to be interesting. He charges over the line. The 299. He's giving it a go. Tyrone Stansfield working hard on the back of Matthew Pearce, getting a lot closer. Then it's Dimolo, Evans, Barlow. So here comes Stansfield again, having a look on Matthew Pearce. Got to look after the tyres. Doesn't want to chuck it in and hope. He's got to build up to it, but Stansfield definitely giving Pearce pressure now for second position. Sam Faulkner is really pulling away here out of the front. He's got that advantage up to speed again. 3.5 minutes left of the race, plus 1 lap. So it's all going great for Sam Faulkner, leading the way. Matthew Pearce in second. Tyrone Stansfield's right with him. 4th place for Dimolo, 5th for Evans, 6th for Barlow. Great to see both of those junior drivers there from last year in the top 6 of the Super Elites in 2018. But still, Matthew Pearce is having a shake off Tyrone Stansfield, and it's a really tough battle as Stansfield continues to push. 5th place for Evans, trying to stay in touch with Sam Dimolo. And there's a great battle further back. That is for 7th place. That's Ian Williams, Dan Walden and Jason Bradbury having a great tussle for position as well. So they continue to scrap away. Tom Massarella trying to make up progress. He's working with Will Checkley on the back of Jamie Hunnisett as they go further forward. This is a good run from Tom Massarella on the back of Jamie Hunnisett. Can he get through and move up into 22nd position? He is working at it. Stansfield going well on the back of Matthew Pearce, but Pearce is still a match for him at the moment. But out of the final turn, all is going well. Massarella's made the move on Hunnisett. Now Will Checkley's going to get the same move done. And Will Checkley's got past Hunnisett as well. Great racing in the back of the pack. Great racing in the middle of the pack. Ian Williams leading the charge for 7th place as he now battles with Dan Walden and Jason Bradbury. Here they are at the S's, trying to close up on the top 6. Williams, Walden and Bradbury still battling away there for 7th place. And it sounds like we've had a moment there at the back, have we? Thought there was somebody going over the S's at that point of the circuit, and we got an absolute squabble as Michael Roots and Matt Ogle are having a bit of a squabble. That was really close, and there's a good battle as round the outside. That is going to be an opportunity for Tom Massarella to break through. He's got past Will Checkley, trying to get on the inside of Matt Ogle, and Michael Roots is in that mix as well. A minute and a half to go. But out in front, it is Sam Faulkner. Tyrone Stansfield really pushing Matthew Pearce as he tries to come up the far side. Matthew Pearce having to defend now from Tyrone Stansfield. Stansfield really giving Pearce a hurry up, and Sam Dimmelow's right there as well. Dimmelow's been looking after the tyres, and now he's getting back on the pace. Great racing everywhere here in the Super Elites 125. Tyrone Stansfield has a chance to go for the 3 of Matthew Pearce. Into that first corner, is he going to make a chance to go for second? Not yet, not yet. Sam Dimmelow's going to try and move on the inside of Tyrone Stansfield. Not quite there yet. Oh, so close at the front. But Sam Faulkner still stretching out a pace as Tom Massarella and Will Checkley have managed to deal with Matt Ogle and Jamie Hunnisett. The blue flags will fly for Phil Patience as Sam Faulkner comes up to lap him. He's not quite close enough really for the blue flags to come into effect, but he's not far away from it. Tyrone Stansfield still trying to chase down Matthew Pearce and get some assistance from Sam Dimmelow. 32 on the clock plus 1 lap. This is going to be a really tough race. Right to the end this will go. So the drivers battle on. Is this going to be a race victory for Sam Faulkner? He closes up on Phil Patience to put a lap on him. Surely Sam Faulkner has got the pace controlled well in command now. Matthew Pearce hanging on to second in front of Tyrone Stansfield. Faulkner goes through the traffic. He's going to come across the line. Is there going to be time to go? No, last lap. So Tyrone Stansfield's getting on with this now on the back of Matthew Pearce. Will he make the dive and the lunge into turn 1? No, doesn't make that for turn 2. So Tyrone Stansfield's still on it as they come off the S's. Matthew Pearce is going to have to defend. Pearce checks over his shoulder to see where Stansfield and Dimmelow are. Could be a great battle between those guys to the flag, and they've got a slower card in front of them. Sam Faulkner's got the victory in his pocket, but now it's up to Stansfield to make a good charge on Matthew Pearce, and Patience is in the way. Patience is holding up. Oh man, Matthew Pearce, and they're going to have to go side by side. Faulkner's going to get the victory. Who's going to get second? It is going to be Pearce just in front of Stansfield. Oh my goodness. Another close run. Stansfield just behind Pearce at the line. Dimmelow fourth from Evans and Barlow, Williams, Walden, Bradbury and Stanley. Great battles all the way to the finish as they come through. 11th place for Jonathan Corrie from Ben Hitch, Carl Watt. Jim Rainbird is 14th ahead of Mark Lawrence. Then it's Aaron Banks and Sean Port. George Friday, Michael Roots and Tom Massarella in 20th place. 21st for Will Checkley from Darling. And then the rest of the field will come through behind that. Behind David Darling, it is Matt Ogle, Jamie Hunnisett, Phil Patience, and then our retirees from the race, Dave Burns and Neil Fisher, who both had mechanical problems, unfortunately. So Neil Fisher will now have to start his race, as will Dave Burns from the back of the grid. But Sam Faulkner, this time 2.1 seconds clear at the finish, ahead of Matthew Pearce and Tyrone Stansfield. So closely matched. I wonder if they'll save their very best to the very end. Wow. Really exciting stuff in the Birelart UK Series Super Elites 125s. Toby Baldry is being shoved towards me for an interview by Morgan Cole. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to jinx it, I don't think. Well, let's have a quick word before we go into the cadets. Toby, that was a really good fight back from 9th place to get back up into 4th position. Some good overtakes there, and now you're right back in the hunt for the junior final.
Yeah, it went really well. We've got the second fastest lap so far this weekend, so we should be able to get second in theory. It's only 2 overtakes instead of 5 or something, or 4, so it should be a lot easier and we should come through fighting.
How critical is that start going to be in the final when it's very tight into those first couple of corners?
Well, I find I really want to try and cut across, get off to the right, get a good start, but you can almost run it around the outside going into the chicane, like if someone gives you that chicane. If not, you've got to sort of back out, so try and maintain or even gain a place into the start.
A tough race ahead, but a podium is looking really, really strong here.
Yeah, we're only 1 place off a podium after coming through from just inside the top 10. So, yeah, podium should be pretty easy, to be fair, compared to that race.
Good job, Toby. We really wish you all the best.
Thank you.
So that is Toby Baldry from the juniors, having fought his way up from 9th on the grid in the pre-final through to 4th position in the final, in the pre-final, I should say. So now our main focus is going to be on the finals. We've had our heats, we've had our pre-finals. Next up, it is going to be the business end of the meeting and the race that everybody wants to win. The finals, starting with the cadets.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
So this is the one that everybody wants to win. This is the final in each of the 3 classes. And this is the one where they take away silverware. It's been a very tough weekend up to this point for everybody. They've worked very hard indeed. They've put in an awful lot of effort to get to this point. But we go into the cadet final with a new man at the top of the dais in pole position, fresh off his first win in the Birelart UK Series Cadets. Oakley Keatley, pole position for the first time, and exactly where he deserves to be after what's been a cracking weekend for him so far. Now he's got the first one out the way. The job is simple. Do it again. Alongside him, Ella Stevens, champion from last year, second on the grid for this one, right in the hunt, having been third in race 1, second in race 2. There's no guesses where she's intending to be for the final. Nathan Tye, championship leader coming into the weekend, a win earlier, a third in that one. This is going to be a tough one for him. But all 3 of these drivers in the front 3 look like they're going to be the ones stretching out in front of the rest of the field, with the battle very, very closely matched between them all as they battle for supremacy. We're just waiting for the 101 cadet to show out. So is the 101 cadet coming out onto the grid? We're just waiting to see if there is going to be the 101 cadet, because it hasn't so far. Apparently the 101 is not going to be starting the final. That's a real shame. So we've just been told, unfortunately, the 101 is not going to be making the start of the final. That is a real shame. So we'll talk about that in just a short moment or so. But great racing on the way from those top 3 that we mentioned in the cadets. Leading the chasing pack is Kylan Ingram. It'll be really interesting to see how Kylan Ingram gets on from that second row of the grid. A good start in prospect, and it could be a very interesting run from there on in. No, there is the 101 coming back into the pits. So there we go. The 101 will take the start. Thank goodness for that. So I thought that was a bit premature, but the 101 is now coming back into the race, and there we go. So that is Jamie Warner. So Jamie Warner will be taking up the start as expected. Good to hear. So now the drivers making their way to the grid once more. And it is going to be 5th position on the grid for Jamie Gurney. That inside line going to be a very interesting place to start from. If he can hold that line all the way through to turn 2, then he should be able to hold station in position very nicely. But Charlie Humphreys alongside him on that 3rd row of the grid is going to be pushing for it straight off the bat. And that little error in the earlier race is already a distant memory, but from that inside line for turn 1, you can make a lot of progress from there. So Charlie Humphreys definitely not out of dodge yet. Aidan Hassan in the 4th row of the grid on that inside line again. Make great progress over the course of the weekend and is continuing to do so. So it'll be interesting to see how well he goes from 7th place. 8th position on the grid is going to be the leading rookie. This time it's not Archie Heron, it's Craig Evans. Although Archie Heron is very close in with connections there. Callum Lockett is in the mix too, in 9th position on the grid. Still doing a great job in his second season in the cadets. A rookie last year and making up time. This year he's not making up the numbers. He's pushing very hard for the top 10s every time he goes out. So the Birelart Cadets grid for the final is obviously going to be the one that everybody is going to be focusing on, and everybody watching around the world will be keeping an eye on this one, as the Birelart Cadets 60 grid is going to be very, very tight. So as the cadets drivers get themselves ready for the action here on what has been an absolutely gorgeous weekend at Clay Pigeon, rain has not even been a factor or even a threat of a factor in any way, shape or form this weekend. And it's going to stay bone dry throughout as well. We're not going to get any rain at all. And it will be a gorgeous end to what has already been a fantastic weekend. Since the Friday, people have been down here camping in their great numbers, enjoying the race action. And through the practice yesterday and through the heat haze, it's now time for the big one. The race final with Oakley Keatley and Ella Stevens on that front row of the grid from Nathan Tye and Kylan Ingram. Jamie Gurney and Charlie Humphreys on the third row of the grid with Aidan Hassan and Craig Evans giving chase. And then, of course, behind them, we have Callum Lockett and Jamie Scott, who has worked his way up into the top 10 after some fantastic drives in those first two races. So hopefully it's just going to continue going from there. But that front row of the grid is still going to be a very tough challenge from Oakley Keatley on the outside line for turn 1. And Ella Stevens, the reigning champion, on that inside line for turn 1. But they will reverse those roles for turn 2. So it's all about how well they get through that first corner. But Keatley, Stevens and Tye have been the three battling for the victories in both of these two races. In fact, both of these two weekends, it's been between those three. And I have a feeling if they continue up this kind of form, it could be those three for the championship in 2018 as well. If they just continue this kind of form everywhere we go, what's really going to be an interesting test is 2 weeks' time at Fullbeck, who is going to be the one in top. But Kylan Ingram, Jamie Gurney and Charlie Humphreys will have a lot to say about that one. They will not want to let the pace get away. Aidan Hassan, 7th position, still has plenty of time to make as well. But the leading rookie, Craig Evans, has been very impressive. And after two very close battles between the rookies, Archie Heron winning the first, Craig Evans winning the second. Are we going to get a different rookie in position there this time? Because Jamie Scott and Lily Jeffs are threatening to move their way forward as well. So let's see how those two go from their positions. Lily Jeffs on the 6th row of the grid in 11th place on the grid. And Jamie Scott starting from 10th on the grid, just a little way in front of her. Lily Jeffs alongside Archie Heron on the grid. Chase Sharp is the next best rookie, 13th on the starting grid. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep on to the back of those guys. He's getting faster and faster with every weekend. In fact, faster and faster with every session, we should point out. So he's making up big grounds, considering that his debut in the championship was supposed to come next time out at Fullbeck. It's actually really impressive to see that they decided to go straight in at Wilton. They didn't get to race at Wilton, but that actually helped the preparation a little bit for Landau. And then here at Clay Pigeon, and he doesn't look like a rookie anymore. He looks like he's been doing it for a few meetings. So already the pace is coming. Alongside him on the grid is going to be a very talented youngster in Josh Turnbull. And then, of course, we've got the likes of Hudson Cross, 101 Jamie Warner, and Jake Bell, the 75, should be there as well. So it's a great run and some brilliant performances from the drivers so far over the course of the day. Melissa Zaffino is watching at home. Come on, Lockett 92. Callum Lockett from that inside line in the top 10 is already going to prove to be a very worthy contender in the 2018 season. Good to see him moving forward. But all of the cadets are up for a great scrap. They've already had two. But the third one is the one that's the most important, and it will declare the silverware a little bit later on as well. So as time ticks on, the tension mounts. All of the drivers in the cadets wanting to finish their weekend off on a high. It will be very interesting racing from them. And we'll see how things go from their point of view. Beside me, actually, as we get ready for the cadets, is the man who's just left the cadet championship, Dylan Briley, who's moving up to the juniors, and he'll be out next. Dylan, do you miss these guys? I know you've been racing with them for the last couple of seasons or so. Do you miss them already?
Yeah, they're all like so much fun. It's sort of sad, but...
Well, obviously you've got your junior final coming up, and that's going to be a really interesting race because you've already found the sweet spot with this kart and you're enjoying it and things are going very well.
Yeah, we can hopefully push on because we didn't have the best of starts. We had to sort of recover it a bit, but we'll try and push on to see if we can get further up the order.
And it's a great period for racing in you at the moment anyway, because you've got a lot of local support for this weekend, and it looks as though, you know, for the rest of the season, you're going to have a really good year.
Yeah, thank you.
No probs. Let's go racing, the Cadet 60 final here at Clay Pigeon, and it will be a really interesting race. Oakley Keatley, the latest winner in the Birelart UK Cadet Series Championship, becomes the third different winner this year after Nathan Tye and Ella Stevens. Ella Stevens lines up beside Oakley Keatley on that front row of the grid. Third is going to be Nathan Tye. Alongside him on the starting grid is Kylan Ingram, having a great rejuvenation in 2018. Then it's Jamie Gurney, not quite at the same speed he wants to be, but he is gunning for that inside line in 5th position on the grid. Charlie Humphries is there. Oh, and that's a spin on the rolling lap from the 101 of Jamie Warner. So it's just as well that they're going to have 2 formation laps, because he will get another opportunity to get back into position. Aidan Hassan and Craig Evans will be on the 4th row of the grid, with Callum Lockett and Jamie Scott on the 5th row of the starting grid. Then it will be Lily Jeffs and Archie Heron on row 6. And then in behind them, we'll have Chase Sharp in 13th position. And alongside him on the grid is going to be the other rookie, Josh Turnbull. And then we'll have the other 3 drivers in position. I didn't actually see the 75 of Jake Bell, so I'm hoping he's on the grid. But Hudson Cross and Jamie Warner are there in 15th and 16th. And I think that's all of them, actually, because although it's showing that Jake Bell should be starting 17th on the grid, I'm not entirely sure he is racing in this last race of the day. So it's been a tough weekend so far, but there are 16 of them on the grid, and this is going to be a really interesting battle for them. Now, is that Jake Bell trying to make up ground at the back, or is that Hudson Cross in the 100? Yes, that's Hudson Cross trying to get back into position alongside Jamie Warner. If they control the pace, he should have time to get there before the race begins. Yes, he will. So now it's about the front of the field. Keatley versus Stevens to that first start of the race. They're going round again, apparently. So after 2 formation laps, there is going to be another one. So a 3rd formation lap. I wonder if that's because it took a bit of a time for the 100 to come back into position. But it is so tight at the front of this field between those 3 drivers, and I completely agree with Barry Ashcroft. Too close to call. Can't pick a winner. Oakley Keatley, Ella Stevens and Nathan Tye. 3 drivers who can all win and have all done so this year. This weekend it's been a win apiece for Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley. Oakley Keatley's first in the championship in the pre-final. He starts pole, but they all know about Ella Stevens and her pace. Last year's champion, already a winner this year. But is it going to be a victory for Keatley, for Stevens, or for Tye? Or, if they battle, is it going to be somewhere else? Not just watching in Australia, watching in Canada as well, as the Valverdes are watching live from Toronto. Out of the final turn we go. This is it. This is the start we've been waiting for. Keatley's going to get a good one. So too is Stevens with assistance from Ingram, and away we go. And it's going to be a start of perfection from Oakley Keatley. He will lead the way here. Ella Stevens tucks into 3rd position. That's Kylan Ingram, I think, through in a 2nd place, is it? No, it's Nathan Tye. My apologies. Ingram's there in P5. A great start from Jamie Gurney, but Ingram straight up the inside into P4. Great move there from Kylan Ingram. And now it looks like Charlie Humphries is going to repeat the move. Yes, he's through. Up in a P5. So a cracking start, and Keatley and Tye are now trying to get away. Keatley and Tye working together to stretch out the gap out in front. Pushing on and doing a great job. Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley working together as they charge forward. Ella Stevens in 3rd position. 4th is Ingram. 5th is Humphries. 6th is Gurney. Then it's Aidan Hassan. And then we'll have the absolute pack of dogs squabbling away for 8th position down. Ella Stevens still there in 3rd position, charging after our 2 leaders. But this is the strategy for Keatley and Tye to stretch away, pull out a gap, and then with a couple of laps to go, fight for positions. But Ella Stevens never quite lets that happen. Kylan Ingram's right there in P4. Charlie Humphries in 5th. 6th is Gurney, 7th is Hassan, then 8th is Jamie Scott. The leading rookie is now Jamie Scott. Are we going to have 3 completely different rookies as the lead rookie in this class? Next it's Craig Evans, then Callum Lockett, Lily Jeffs and Archie Heron. Then it's Josh Turnbull battling it out with Chase Sharp. And we've got Hudson Cross battling with Jamie Warner. There's races everywhere you look in the cadet grid. Here comes Stevens making the move on the inside, and Nathan Tye and in a 2nd place. Good move there from Ella Stevens up into P2. So Oakley Keatley leads. Stevens back to 2nd from Tye, Ingram and Humphries. Gurney's in 6th, Hassan 7th. Then it's Scott, Evans, Lockett, Jeffs, Heron, Turnbull and Sharp, and Warner and Cross are duking it out for position. So Ella Stevens now has a great chance here to charge after Oakley Keatley for the lead of the race. Their game plan has not worked. They're not going to be able to stretch away and leave Ella Stevens for dead. She's going to fight her way back through the S's. Ella Stevens hustling for the lead here on the back of Oakley Keatley. She's got a chance and she's going for the lead immediately, and she's there in the first position. Nathan Tye going to try and come through as well. Oakley Keatley holds the line. Nathan Tye decides to hang back in a third position and work with Keatley. Ingram and Humphries are now right on them. It's a 5-way scrap for the victory. Ingram and Humphries are not out of this yet. 4th and 5th, and they're right in the mix. So Nathan Tye working with Oakley Keatley to move forward. Ella Stevens, your new race leader once again. Are we going to get 3 different winners from the first 3 races of the weekend from these cadets? Up towards the hairpin once again, and this time Nathan Tye looking for a way to come past on Oakley Keatley. Keatley tries to get a move on the inside of Stevens. Stevens will not let it happen. So Ella Stevens leads the way. Still in first place from Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley as they battle, and now Oakley Keatley's got the position, and Ella Stevens having to fend off from Nathan Tye. So Keatley's through on the exit of the horseshoe, and now they're back onto the main straight as Keatley takes the lead. Ella Stevens in second, Nathan Tye in third. 4th is Ingram, 5th is Humphries, Gurney in 6th place. Humphries now up to 4th place on Kyle and Ingram. So Charlie Humphries has made the move for P4. Really interesting battles. Turnbull and Sharp are still battling away. Looks like Jamie Warner's lost out to Hudson Cross for the moment. But how about this for the leading battle? 5 of them still in the fight. Stevens trying to shake off Nathan Tye and get on terms with Oakley Keatley, but Nathan Tye will not be beaten easily as Ella Stevens has another crack at Oakley Keatley out of the final turn. If she gets a good run, she may get a chance to go for the lead into turn 2. Nathan Tye is right there with him as they battle on. Ella Stevens looking for a gap on the inside. Nathan Tye decides to dive on the inside of Ella Stevens and takes second. Nathan Tye's through to second. So Nathan Tye moves up into P2. So now it's Keatley from Tye and Stevens. Stevens is going to try again, but Nathan Tye's late breaking into the hairpin gives him a little bit more room to play with. 4th is Humphries, 5th is Ingram, 6th is Gurney, then it's Hassan, then it's an absolute dogfight. Jamie Scott in front of Craig Evans, Callum Lockett, Archie Heron and Lily Jeffs. Great racing between these 5. Aidan Hassan's got rid of them for the moment. Evans having to move to cover Callum Lockett. Archie Heron and Lily Jeffs in there as well. The leaders come over the line. And Ella Stevens in third behind Oakley Keatley and Nathan Tye. And what a move from Craig Evans. Evans makes the move in the final turn and gets the place as Nathan Tye gets up alongside Oakley Keatley in the S's. Doesn't quite get the move. Now Ella Stevens has got momentum. She's going to get through in a second. Good move from Stevens. And there goes Humphries. Humphries is through in a third. Tye's going to have to defend to the inside. Now Humphries runs wide. Ingram's back through. Oh my goodness. What a battle. And that's given Keatley a good advantage over Stevens for the moment. So Keatley's got a lead of about half a second. He laps Jamie Warner. Ella Stevens is going to try her best not to get held up at the back here, and the move around the outside. Good overtakes there. They've all got through cleanly. Great racing further back as Craig Evans has now got away from Lockett, Scott, Heron and Jeffs. Lily Jeffs up the inside goes for the move. Meanwhile, Nathan Tye is trying to work with Ella Stevens to get back on terms with Oakley Keatley. This race is well and truly on. 6 minutes 15 plus 1 lap, and Ella Stevens and Nathan Tye charging after the race leader, Oakley Keatley. 4th place for Kylan Ingram. 5th is Humphries. 6th is Gurney. 7th Hassan. 8th is Craig Evans. A great battle between the rookies as Lily Jeffs has a go at Jamie Scott. Tries to make the move on the inside. Now looks to the outside. Tries to get the switchback for the final turn. Terrific racing. And Ella Stevens now second with Nathan Tye right behind her. Getting closer and closer to Oakley Keatley. They are getting the gap down. Ella Stevens looks pretty strong out of the chicane. She's not going to go for the move on Keatley just yet. But Nathan Tye's going to take the bait and goes for second and gets it. Nathan Tye through in a second place. So that is Nathan Tye back in a second position, as he wanted to be at least. But now he's going to try and close up on Keatley. Keatley can't run away, but he has held a great lead for the moment. Tye running very deep. Ella Stevens likewise. They've got to be careful with track limits out of that final turn. They've got to be careful. They're pushing very hard. They don't want to lose time. But at the moment, it is Oakley Keatley leading from Nathan Tye and Ella Stevens. Ingram and Humphries are very close together now for 4th and 5th. Blue flags as they lap the back markers. But Ella Stevens is keeping herself very much in the hunt, right on the back of Nathan Tye. And Humphries and Ingram are compromised a little bit. Humphries is held up. And that's going to drop him off the back of the pack. That's a real shame there. He's going to remain in 5th, but he just can't quite find a way past Hudson Cross. And that's going to be a big problem for Humphries. His chance to come through looks like it's going to go. Humphries is now trying to find a way to get past. And Humphries a little bit irritable as he goes past Hudson Cross. But now Nathan Tye is right on the back of Oakley Keatley. How about this? Right on the back. Down to the hairpin once again. Nathan Tye not going for the move just yet. Oakley Keatley leading the way still. Nathan Tye second. Ella Stevens third from Kylan Ingram. And they're still running beautifully at the moment. 4th position, Kylan Ingram watching for a moment. Here comes Nathan Tye on the inside of Keatley. They bang wheels as they go side by side. And now Ella Stevens has got a run on them. Ella Stevens found the far side. Can Ella Stevens keep her foot in? She's going to get squeezed by Keatley. Keatley trying to come right round the outside and hangs on a 2nd position. Ella Stevens gets her foot back in. How did Keatley hang on a 2nd place there? Ella Stevens is now backed up into Kylan Ingram. Oakley Keatley with nerves of steel hangs on a 2nd place. That was absolutely amazing driving. And still he has a chance to win this one with Nathan Tye out front. So Tye leads it. Keatley 2nd, 3rd Stevens, 4th is Kylan Ingram, 5th is Humphries, 6th Jamie Gurney. Hassan is being caught by the battle behind now. Evans is catching. Lockett, Scott, Jeffs and Heron all in the mix. But up at the front, it is still a tight battle. Nathan Tye has been caught again by Oakley Keatley. Ella Stevens in 3rd place, still charging hard as they battle for position. 3 minutes plus 1 lap to go. This is going to be a really close battle. Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley have got more traffic to deal with now. They've got Chase Sharp up in front of them. They've got to pick their moment wisely. Nathan Tye through, Oakley Keatley through, Ella Stevens will be through as well. Terrific racing and great battles at the moment as they continue to battle. Now we've got Kylan Ingram losing a bit of ground to Chase Sharp. In 4th position, they go through, but it's very tight. The battle further back is very close as well. We've got Aidan Hassad hanging on in front of Craig Evans, Callum Lockett, and then the 3 rookies, Scott, Heron and Jeffs, all battling away. Jeffs now in 11th position, by the way. But Ella Stevens is right back in the hunt on the back of Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley. This is the one they wanted. This is the battle. 2 minutes plus 1 lap to go. So let's see if Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley and Ella Stevens can have a great run for the finish line. This is going to be the big battle. And they are going to race for the victory there as Ella Stevens close up behind Oakley Keatley and Nathan Tye. They go through. They've got more traffic to deal with as they lap Josh Turnbull. Ella Stevens has made up a lot of time in the traffic there. So Ella Stevens will be right on the back of these two as they come through the S's. Back up towards the hairpin. Oakley Keatley now going to try and make the move on Nathan Tye. Can Ella Stevens get the gap down? Nathan Tye hanging on to the victory for the moment in front of Oakley Keatley. They're still trying to get away. Stevens is not giving up yet. She is still there in 3rd position, running out of time, but running out of laps. But she is still in the hunt. She's not done yet. Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley very close together out of the final turn as Ella Stevens keeps pushing. The 3 of them still in the mix, fighting for the victory. Kylan Ingram 4th. Charlie Humphries is 5th from Jamie Gurney. Then it is Aidan Hassan, Evans, Lockett, Scott, Jeffs, Heron, Turnbull. Then it is Sharp, Cross and Warner. But still these 3 continue to battle. They're not going to catch the gap for 10th position. So once they got past Jamie Warner, they will not have any more traffic to deal with. Ella Stevens is absolutely eating into the advantage these 2 have got. But Nathan Tye and Oakley Keatley are very close. Jamie Warner's going to get the blue flag down the main straight. He's going to need to get out of the way of these 3 battling away for the victory down the main straight. Tye's got to pick his moment. Keatley's going to come round the far side. Ella Stevens needs to go with them here. Go on the inside. Oh, goodness me. Keatley and Jamie Warner accidentally banged wheels there. Thank goodness neither of them came off the circuit. That was a very near miss for Oakley Keatley, just ending up rubbing wheels there with Jamie Warner as he lapped him. But now he's on the back of Nathan Tye. We're running out of seconds now. This is going to be the last lap coming up. And Oakley Keatley knows it. Can he get one over on Nathan Tye? Will Ella Stevens get one final chance? They come out of the final turn, and this is it. The last lap of Clay Pigeon for the cadets. Here they come. Oakley Keatley's got a great run. He's going to try and make the move on Nathan Tye. Tye's going to defend. Ella Stevens is going to get a chance. Keatley's going to come for the switchback move. He can't get there. Ella Stevens up and over the curbs in the chicane, trying to come back at him. Now Oakley Keatley's going to go for it. Nathan Tye defends to the inside hairpin, and they go through the right-hander. Oakley Keatley's going to get alongside Nathan Tye on the switchback. Nathan Tye will defend to the inside. Keatley moves to cover. Ella Stevens is held up. I think it's going to be between these two, Tye and Keatley. Can Keatley plunge into the last turn? He's having a go. Nathan Tye's going to hold it, but Keatley's going to come past. It's going to be close to the line. Here comes Keatley, and Nathan Tye's done it. Nathan Tye wins. What a sensational victory, just as in Landau. Here at Clay Pigeon, Nathan Tye wins the cadet final. Keatley is second, Stevens is third. Fourth is Kylan Ingram from Humphreys and Gurney. Look at this battle on the last lap. It's a real squabble as they work their way through. Seventh place is going to be Aiden Hassan, but who's going to get the top rookie spot? Oh, it's close for the line. Who got the top rookie spot? It's Jamie Scott. Jamie Scott gets there only just in front of Archie Herod by 0.02 of a second. Three different rookies taking the top rookie honour in cadets this weekend. We had Archie Heron, we had Craig Evans, and now by 0.02 of a second, we've got the man who wins the rookie class. That is Jamie Scott by 0.02 of a second. Unbelievable. Oh, hang on a minute. In front of them was Craig Evans. My apologies. Evans was ahead of them. So Evans is actually the top rookie. I didn't see him 2 places in front. Goodness me. So Craig Evans did fight his way to 8th place. Scott was the second rookie in front of Archie Heron. Lily Jeffs in the 4th place for the rookies. But Nathan Tye beats Keatley by 0.084. Ella Stevens in 3rd. Kylan Ingram is 4th from Charlie Humphreys, Jamie Gurney, Aiden Hassan. The lead rookie is Craig Evans. Callum Lockett is 9th from Jamie Scott in 10th. Archie Heron 11th. Lily Jeffs, Josh Turnbull, Hudson Cross. And then we have the last two home. That is Chase Sharp and Jamie Warner. Wow. I barely got any vocal cords left for the last 2 races. The cadets have been absolutely astonishing. Nathan Tye, back-to-back finals victories there. Really, really exciting stuff. And a brilliant victory for Nathan Tye. As he did in the final at Landau, he does it again here at Clay Pigeon. And what a result. Fantastic job from Nathan Tye. Second for Oakley Keatley. A great weekend for him. He's definitely moving forward in the championship standings. And a terrific win for Nathan Tye. What a result. In the cadets, that was always going to be tough. It was always going to be so close to call. But from 3rd on the grid for the final, Nathan Tye is the top cadet here this weekend in the final. And that will extend his lead in the Drivers' Championship. What a result. What a great job. What about the guys behind that top 3 battle, though? Kylan Ingram will be quite happy to be best of the rest. Picked up some good points there for 4th position. Frustrations for Charlie Humphreys. Had a great chance in that one and was impeded by traffic at the wrong time. And good racing from Jamie Gurney, albeit in no man's land. A top 6 he'll be very happy with. And a 7th place for Aiden Hassan. Top rookie, Craig Evans in the end of it. The cheeky chappie has done a great job here for 8th place. And again, that's well deserved. Wow, the cadets always put on a good show. And that was a great end to the cadet category for this weekend. We move on now to the junior battle with the expectation and the understanding that they're going to be just as epic to watch.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Tension building here at Clay Pigeon Raceway for the final race of the weekend for the Birelart Junior 100 class. This has been such a tough battle to call. At the front of the field, it's the same 2. Callum Gunning and Harry Graham, who have battled for the victories on both occasions in the heat and pre-final, with Harry Graham leading the way throughout until Callum Gunning pops up. He's only led 2 laps all weekend, would you believe? But crucially, they are the last laps. That's the only lap you need to lead. So great work there from Callum Gunning to put himself into the top spot on 2 occasions now this weekend. If he gets the hat-trick, well, that's a double hat-trick. Not many people do that the first 2 rounds of the season. However, Harry Graham knows how tough it is to beat him. He knows how difficult it will be, but they've both got to keep an eye on the fastest starter in the business, and that is Nicky Taylor. 3rd position. Started 7th in race 1, got it up to 5th. Started 5th in race 2, got it up to 3rd. If he keeps up that trend, then neither Gunning or Graham will see which way he went. He's got to be very careful on that first couple of corners. Alongside him on the starting grid, though, he's going to have a bit of a challenge as well there from that second row of the grid, and that's going to come from Toby Baldry. He's got his own machinations on the victory. He will want to get this one done fairly straightforward into the first couple of corners of the race, up into a strong position, but it's always going to be tough. Behind them, the cavalry is very close. Scott Huntley leads the charge on the 3rd row of the grid. Alongside him, one of the surprises of the season, the most pleasant surprises of the season, young Tom Harvey, runner-up in the cadets last year, and now in the top 6 on merit in juniors in his 2nd weekend in the championship. Really exciting to see. The E-plate from last year, Sam Cunliffe, finds himself on the 4th row of the grid on that inside line for turn 2. If he can hold it round the outside, he will have a tough job of it because he's got Ben Gartside to his left. So Gartside is going to be there on the inside line for turn 1. And it's great to see Ben Gartside really kick it up a gear this weekend. He's been particularly impressive over the course of practice yesterday and the races today. Great to see him in a great form in the dry. He seems to go well in the wet, but he's really good here in the dry here at Clay. And when it's so close, to be up in that position, it's no joke. Really, really good work from him. On the 5th row of the grid, we've got Dylan Reid and Louis Ross. Dylan Reid fighting very hard indeed there for a good comeback after a bit of a squabble on the opening lap of his first race. To fight back to the top 10 is really impressive. Louis Ross, though, his comeback drive in that one was absolutely monstrous. From the back of the grid up into the top 10. Proof that this is no fluke. He will fight his way forward and be at the top end of the dais by the end of the season. I can see Louis Ross with his current pace here at Clay Pigeon. If he continues it on through the season, he can get podium after podium after podium by the end of this season if he keeps up that form. Morgan Cole is in there on the outskirts of the top 10. His fight back has been pretty good to see as well, up into 11th position, fighting his way forward. He can continue that pace if he just keeps up the faith. Tom Davison alongside him, though, on the grid is going to want to charge forward and make up a few more places, having initially been towards that top 6 from the first race. But when he and Dylan Reid fell off, they started their charge through the field, and now up to 12th position for Davison. He just needs to keep it up. He's still going well. Then comes the epic rookie battle on the 13th and 14th places on the grid. Alicia Parmowski versus Lewis Berry. They've been at each other's throats all weekend, and Alicia Parmowski managed to get it by 4 centimetres in the first race, 0.4 of a second in the second, so it's very close indeed between them two, and they will continue to charge all the way to the finish. Just in behind them, we've got Jack Rigg, who is battling away there with Dylan Brierley, another cadet making the jump up to juniors this weekend, in fact, and doing a very good job of it as he makes the progress further forward. And then, of course, the other two in connection are Connor Stanton, moving up to juniors after a year away from the Birelart UK Series. Last competed as a cadet and has adapted to the junior kart very well thus far. And alongside him on the grid is Vijay Ramlal, who had a very difficult race in the last one with mechanical problems. He is never usually that far back in the race. You've only got to look at it from the qualifying point of view to know he's inside that pole position time within a second, so there's no reason why Ramlal should be that far back on pace. He is a much faster driver than that, and hopefully in the final he will do so on paper as well as on the clock. So this is going to be an interesting race. How about that? From the front to the back, they are covered by less than a second. That is the Junior Brigade in 2018 in the Birelart Junior Paddock, and they are fantastic drivers to watch. The battle is always incredibly close, and the racing is set to be very tight right to the dais. So how many laps will Callum Gunning have led by the end of this weekend? As far as he's concerned, it's only going to be 3. But let's see how many it turns out to be at the end of the dais. Harry Graham would like to leave all of the laps, this one, to the front end of the field. He doesn't want that man behind him, Nicky Taylor, getting a sniff of victory but it's going to be a tough one. Those 3 drivers, for my money, are the ones battling for the victory. And it could be any one of those 3. It's very close indeed. However, there are 6 drivers sat behind those 3 who will have something to say about that, particularly Toby Baldry, who has fought his way back from 4th on the road, docked to 9th, and then back to 4th. If he can keep up that kind of pace, he could charge past all 3 of them. Scott Huntley is always incredibly consistent. If he has that kind of pace in the final, he could be a race winner. And nobody is quite sure just how far Tom Harvey can take this early season pace, because he's there in the top 6. He's there on merit. He deserves to be there. He's shown incredible adaptation from a cadet to junior, and he's surprised a lot of people. Pleasantly surprised to see him do so well so soon. But can he keep it up in the final? And more importantly, could it end up coming home with some silverware? We'll see. There's plenty of racing to be done. It's a long race, this one. 14 minutes plus 1 lap. And there's an awful lot to go. So there's a lot of people watching from all over the corners of the globe. We've got people in North America watching all the way from Toronto. The Valverde's giving a big up to Alicia Parmowski on the grid as they hope that she will once again make it a hat trick in the rookies dais. And there's going to be some great action for all the drivers out there. A congratulations has come in to Nathan Tighe from Nana and Grandad. Chicken very, very proud. That's Joy Spur messaging. And hopefully we'll get a quick word with Nathan Tighe before the day is out, who's probably still hopping up and down in the pits after what has been an absolutely incredible drive. I think that might be his best yet to hold off the attentions of the drivers right behind him, Oakley Keatley and Ella Stevens. That was a very, very tough battle. And also, a good luck, everyone, has come in from one of the drivers who should be on this starting grid. Joe Sheppy is watching from back home. Hopefully he'll be back in the pack again in time for Fullbeck. But obviously there are a few drivers missing this weekend due to exam season. We're missing Joe Sheppy. We're missing George Whitehouse, of course, who should be in this field. Some of them have obviously got an awful lot of stuff going on. So we'll see how the drivers crack on into this weekend. And once we get our drivers back, going into the next round of the championship at Fullbeck, it's going to be really interesting. It's actually a very busy part of the season, this, because we've got this weekend here at Clay Pigeon, then 2 weeks' time we go to Fullbeck, then 2 weeks after that we go to Wilton Mill. It's a 4-week tour for the Birelart UK Series paddock. Dorset this week, Lincolnshire next week, and then 2 weeks later, I should say, and then 2 weeks after that, it's going to go back to Northamptonshire. So it's going to be a really interesting battle for the next 4 weeks of the Birelart UK Series paddock. Another good lot comes in from Pat Ross. Give it your best, Louis. I know he will. He's up there in the top 10, and it's going to be a really, really strong run from Louis there in 10th position on the grid. Plenty to go for, and if he makes up as many places as he did in the last race, he'll be on the podium. That's a mathematical fact. So, how much is this race going to depend on the start? It's going to be very steely nerves down to the first corner. Gunning and Graham will be absolutely matching each other to the millimetre down that home straight. But when it's gung-ho, who's got the mettle and the might to go through in that first corner? Will the inside line be the best place to go? Or will it be the steely nerves around the outside to hold on to position? It's happened twice now that we've seen Graham hold on to the lead in the first part of the lap. And then we've seen Gunning have it lost away from him on that first corner as well in the previous final. So now we go into the main final itself, and it's not very clear as to how things are going to work out. And then, of course, there's that factor on the second row of the grid. Janet Napper writes in, so proud of you, Nikki Taylor. That's Nan and Grandad there rooting for Nikki on the second row of the grid. This one will be very interesting to observe. The junior final is always one of the most action-packed races of the weekend. But this time, even more so, it's very open indeed. And despite the apparent domination on paper of Callum Gunning, it has never quite been as easy as that. As we've already mentioned, in this entire weekend, Callum Gunning has been first only twice. And that is for the only 2 laps he has led. Crucially, though, they have been the final laps of the races. So he knows how to leave the very best he's got till the very end. And that means that he could be in for a very, very interesting fight. The longest race of all and the hottest part of the day. That means that it's going to be very, very tough in terms of tyre lamination. This is where it's really going to count. All the hard work of yesterday, all the drills, all of the testing runs. The whistle goes, the green flag flies. It's time to race. This is the moment they've all been waiting for. The build-up is over and it's time to go racing here at Clay Pigeon Raceway. 30 years, 3 decades since a very young Jenson Button turned his first wheel around this racetrack, and he didn't turn out too badly. So here is the grid for the Junior 100 final, as we've mentioned a few times already. That front row of the grid taken up by Callum Gunning, who's won every race thus far this year, and Harry Graham, who has been on pole position a couple of times already. Then we've got Nicky Taylor up to 3rd position, Toby Baldry alongside him on that second row of the grid. Scott Huntley and Thomas Harvey, then Sam Cunliffe in there in 7th place alongside him, Ben Gartside. And then, of course, in there in the mix as well, we've also got the battle between the 9th and 10th place drivers, Dylan Reed and Louis Ross. They're starting to form up as they go to the hairpin now. But along with Dylan Reed and Louis Ross in the mix, we've also got a bit of a scrap going on behind them, because we've got Morgan Cole in there alongside with Tom Davison. Then we have Alicia Parmowski and Lewis Berry, the battle of the rookies. Then it's Jack Rigg, Dylan Briley, Connor Stanton and Vijay Ramlal. Time for the Junior 100 final to get underway in the Birelart Juniors 100. We are going to get some great racing out of this. And the battle will be close, it will be tense, it will be tight. Let's see who's going to win. Off the start, oh, there's a problem for Toby Baldry. Toby Baldry's had a problem off the start. I don't believe it. Toby Baldry's got a mechanical problem. So have we got underway? Have we started or are we not? Well, the lights are not out on the top of the starting grid, but the time is starting to tick down. So I'm not sure if we're racing or not. I think we're going to go round again. But Toby Baldry appears to be out of the race. This is an absolute disaster. Baldry has got himself back going again. So whatever it was, a temporary issue, but he's got to get himself back in a position quickly. So can Toby Baldry get himself back in a place with enough time to get the race started? Well, that is about as close to an emergency start as possible. He's not going to be able to get there. Now that's going to be a real problem. They're going to go round one more time. Well, I tell you what, that is Toby Baldry's most valuable get-out-of-jail-free card he's ever going to play. That is absolutely amazing. We thought his race was over then, but for the 4th formation lap, Toby Baldry will have time to put himself back onto the 2nd row of the grid. And there he is, he's made it. Phew is the only word that can describe that. Goodness me, Toby Baldry. I think his heart has beaten a few more times more than he expected to over the course of that one. So they are now back into position. And now what was already very tense is now very, very tense as the drivers get themselves ready for position. So now let's see how this is going to go. Out of the final turn, we are ready for the race to get underway, and this time it's going to be a really good charge as away we go. And it's Harry Graham taking the first initial punt. Is Callum Gunning going to take the lead in the first corner? There's a little bit of a jostle. Nicky Taylor's lost a couple of places, but it's Graham who leads. Gunning in 2nd, Baldry's 3rd. Baldry's up to 3rd in front of Nicky Taylor. What a comeback from Toby Baldry. This is a great run as Morgan Cole makes a nice move up the inside of Ben Gartside and gets the place. Alicia Parmowski in there with Lewis Berry. The bird is gone already and she's up into the leading rookie position. Alongside Berry cuts back. But Harry Graham's got a good lead over Gunning. Toby Baldry in 3rd position. Then it's Taylor Huntley. Louis Ross! How has Louis Ross got up to 6th position? What a start from Louis Ross. He's up 4 places on the first lap. And Louis Ross now finds himself in P6. That is astonishing work. Sam Cunliffe looks like he's made up a place or two on that lap. Great racing. Now Cunliffe's going to make another place. He's gone past Ross. He's gone past Huntley. No, Ross has gone past Huntley. And now Cunliffe's got through as well. So Louis Ross is up to 5th. Cunliffe is up to 6th. Great battles. So now it's Graham, Gunning, Baldry, Taylor, Louis Ross. Then Sam Cunliffe. Huntley's got Tom Harvey and Dylan Reed to battle with. Morgan Cole in 10th. Then it looks to me like that is Lewis Berry in front of Gardside, Briley, Parmowski, Rigg, Davison, Stanton and Ramlal. Gunning has now got some superior challenge from Toby Baldry. Now, if Baldry can go through in a second, this race is wide open. He has a look. Gunning's out wide. Baldry's going to try and get there. Gunning fights back and gets the position. But Graham is away clear in the lead. Now, Baldry and Taylor are going to scrap away for second place for Callum Gunning. Surely now, Harry Graham has got a massive lead that cannot be extinguished. But Toby Baldry is going to try and attack Callum Gunning out through the S's. Into the left, into the right. Now they're going to come up the order. This is a great battle. And that's a place made up on Sam Cunliffe. Cunliffe's lost 2 places. 1 to Huntley, 1 to Dylan Reid. Dylan Reid is charging forward, and Morgan Cole is closing up on the battle too now. He's got really good pace. Tom Davison is really struggling for pace. But Graham leads from Gunning, Baldry and Nicky Taylor. Looks like some good challenges later on. That's Ben Gardside trying to come around the outside of Lewis Berry. Tom Harvey set a personal best that time. So did Baldry. So did Taylor. Graham is your leader though. Harry Graham hanging on to the lead. But don't forget, Callum Gunning has only led 2 laps this weekend. But crucially, they were the last laps. He's still got time. He's got 11 minutes plus 1 lap to go. So, brilliant stuff. An amazing battle. And some absolutely terrific racing thus far as they battle away for position. But Graham is your leader. Gunning in second. Baldry third. Taylor, Ross, Huntley, Reid, Cunliffe, Harvey and Cole. That's your top 10 at the moment. Graham is holding a good lead, but Callum Gunning has not given up. He's got plenty of time to catch him. And he knows that he's got a long way to go in this race. Harry Graham continues to hold the lead. Baldry and Taylor are very close this time. 5th position is Louis Ross. How on earth has he gone from 10 to 5th in 2 laps? That is brilliant. 6th place is Huntley, 7th is Reid, then it's Cunliffe, Harvey, Cole, Gardside, Brierley, Berry, Parmowski, and then we've got Rigg battling away with Tom Davison, and then Stanton and Ramlau. Here's the battle between Huntley, Reid, Cunliffe and Tom Harvey. They're having a good scrap for 6th position. Nobody really going for the overtake into the hairpin this time by. The race is long here at Clay Pigeon on this very short circuit. They've got to be very careful how they pace the tyres, and they will continue to scrap all the way through. But a really exciting race this has turned out to be, and it's just going to keep getting better from here on in. So as the racing continues to intensify, they will continue on the far side of the circuit. Harry Graham is being caught by Gunning and Baldry. They are catching him. So Harry Graham's victory is definitely not sorted yet as they continue to battle away for position. Really great racing as they continue to fight. So Harry Graham leads the way. Gunning in second, Baldry third. 4th position is Nicky Taylor. Baldry is pushing Gunning further up the order. What was a massive gap is now very little time at all. Dylan Reid is now at the front of this queue. Scott Huntley is right in there, battling away with Sam Cunliffe and Tom Harvey. Tom Harvey's gone through and Huntley's got his arm in the air. Looks like Tom Harvey's got past both of them. So Cunliffe has lost the place, and so too has Scott Huntley. Looks like Tom Harvey's got past them both. Onto the back of Dylan Reid now. Well, it is now a 3-way scrap for the victory. Harry Graham, Callum Gunning and Toby Baldry having a race for the win now. Toby Baldry in 3rd position, still going well. Racing continues here. 8.5 minutes into the battle. But Graham is your leader. Gunning in second from Baldry, Taylor, Ross, Reid, Harvey, Cunliffe, Huntley and Morgan Cole. 11th place at the moment is Gardside, then it's Dylan Brierley. Lewis Berry's in front of Alicia Parmowski, and that is a move. Toby Baldry trying to go on the inside of Gunning, then bang wheels, and somehow they get away with it. My goodness, that got close. Callum Gunning absolutely determined, and now there's a big gap between Gunning and Graham once again. Graham is your leader, 0.6 of a second clear. Gunning in second, Baldry, Taylor very close together in 3rd and 4th. Louis Ross is 5th. If they keep battling, Louis Ross could get the podium after all. He is catching them. Louis Ross has got great pace here and he's closing up on the top 4. 6th place is Reid, then it's Tom Harvey, Cunliffe, Huntley and Gardside. Morgan Cole is looking at the top 10. Guardside is there. Burley is 12th. Then it's Berry, Rigg, and Parmowski has dropped back behind Tom Davison now, ahead of Connor Stanton. And then we've got Vijay Ramlal still struggling with mechanical problems. Harry Graham leads the way. Second place is Callum Gunning. Toby Baldry and Nicky Taylor are closing them down. So Graham's lead is still very hard to hold on to. Gunning and Baldry have got it down again. So Callum Gunning just wants to sit in second place and snatch the victory on the last lap, as he's done in the previous 2 races. Can he do it again? Nicky Taylor pushing hard. They've got to be careful. They don't want to pick up a penalty for track limits on that far side as the drivers continue to race. Oh, and something's come off one of the carts down the main straight. Something's come off somebody on the main straight. It's the chain guard. It's Tom Davison. Tom Davison's lost his chain guard as Tom Harvey makes the move on Dylan Reed, but Tom Davison has lost his chain guard. Now surely that is game over for Tom Davison. With the chain guard having come off the cart, I think it's game over for Tom Davison. That is a real shame. So I think his race is over. He's already pulled off. So Tom Davison is out. That is such a shame. He had a really good start to the weekend in terms of his practice time, but Tom Davison, there he is, out of the kart and out of the race. Wow, poor Tom Davison. This has been a nightmare weekend for him again. Back to the leaders. Gunning is right on the back of Harry Graham. Now, has he got a new tactic? Because Toby Baldry has gone with him, and they are getting away from Nicky Taylor. So are these three going to continue to charge forward? Great racing and great battles as they continue to push further forward. But the race battle is very close indeed. Some great challenges further back as we've got Ben Gartside, Morgan Cole, Dylan Briley and Lewis Berry and Jack Rigg all battling away. But the 3 leaders are now starting to pull away from Nicky Taylor, Harry Graham, Callum Gunning and Toby Baldry. And for my money, any one of these 3 could get the victory. Because if Graham resists Callum Gunning, then Toby Baldry can go for the overtaking move and get the victory off both of them. There's a long way to go still. 5 minutes plus 1 lap. They've got to look after tyres. They've got to look after brakes. Graham leads. New personal best in the lead. Callum Gunning second. Toby Baldry third. Baldry looks like he's stepping up the attack. Here comes Baldry on the inside of Gunning at the hairpin. Gunning is not letting him come through. Baldry tries again. Gunning defends. Baldry is going to come back. So yet again, Callum Gunning has got to make up a massive deficit to Harry Graham. If they work together, they'll do it. But Toby Baldry has once again got to try and go for Callum Gunning. He's going to try and come through for second place this time. But Callum Gunning and Toby Baldry having a very good battle at the moment. So Toby Baldry tries again on Callum Gunning. They're trying to get closer to Harry Graham once more. But Callum Gunning is absolutely resilient. He will not let Toby Baldry come by. So Toby Baldry trying to get himself in a second place, or at least get on terms with Harry Graham up front. Graham still knitting the eye of the needle perfectly out in front. Still right behind, we've got Gunning and Baldry closing up. New fastest lap of the race from Gunning. New personal best of the race from Toby Baldry. They are charging after Harry Graham. So Gunning's got a bit of work to do. So too has Toby Baldry. Nicky Taylor trying to catch them. This is such an intense battle for the lead of this race. There's good fights further back though, because Ross is in 5th place. 6th, that looks to me like Tom Harvey, closing up on his rival from last year. And as they continue to battle away, it's going to be a really interesting move. So Graham, Gunning, Baldry, Taylor, Ross, Harvey, Cunliffe, Reed, Huntley and Gartside. Fastest lap of the entire race from Tom Harvey. So Harvey is the man on the move, closing up on Louis Ross. Here come the leaders. Harry Graham in front of Callum Gunning and Toby Baldry. They battle away for position. Nicky Taylor there in P4. Oh, mistake from Baldry. That was a big mistake from Toby Baldry, and that has dropped him off the back of Callum Gunning. So now that looks to me like it could be a 2-horse race. So with Callum Gunning and Harry Graham out on their own, this is an absolute rerun of the heat and the pre-final. Toby Baldry's dropped back to over a second back. He's now got to do qualifying laps to close up. Nicky Taylor's there in 4th position. But I think this is now Graham versus Gunning once again. And surely now Harry Graham's got to pull out something special to get the final victory. Callum Gunning is going to beat him if he gets there. Gets a move on the outside line. He's so quick in this part of the course. He's reeling in. Harry Graham trying to go for the move. Baldry's not close enough. Taylor in 4th. Louis Ross is trying to gesture to Tom Harvey. Let's go get them up front. Toby Baldry sets a new personal best in his effort to close up on the guys in front. Morgan Cole moving forward as he closes in on Ben Gartside for the top 10. Rigg is 12th, Briley 13th, then it's Berry and Palmowski, 7/10 between them. Stanton and Ramlau. So here is Graham and Gunning once again, and Ramlau's retired. VJ Ramlau has pulled it into the pits to retire. That's a real shame. He's had a really difficult weekend, to be fair. The pace was there yesterday, and it was there in qualifying this morning, but it just hasn't been there of late. So that is a real shame. But Harry Graham leads the way with 1:18 minutes to go. This is the crunch time now for Callum Gunning. As long as he's right on the back of Harry Graham going into the last lap, he can pull off his special magic trick and get the undercut on Harry Graham once again. Let's see if they can get there right to the final lap. 1 minute plus a lap to go. 3 laps to go then. And here's Tom Davison after such a difficult day at the office. He comes in. Chain guard fell off and that was it. Game over. We'll talk to him afterwards. We've got a great race to go here between our 2 leaders up front. Toby Baldry's still there in 3rd just in case something happens. But he needs to keep pushing. He needs to keep charging after it. Harry Graham leading the way. 2nd place, Callum Gunning. 3rd is Toby Baldry. But if Gunning does what he did in races 1 and 2, then all he needs to do is get him on the last lap. Meanwhile, Tom Harvey is working with Louis Ross to try and close up on Nicky Taylor. But he's going to run out of time. Penultimate lap. 2 laps to go and Harry Graham hanging on in front of Callum Gunning. But from Gunning's point of view, all he has to do is hang on to his position. Harry Graham's doing his very best to get there. Callum Gunning still trying to stretch away. But we're running out of time. We're running out of laps. We have gone absolutely to 0 on the timing. So now it's the last lap. And I'm not sure Gunning's close enough yet. Here goes Harry Graham. Callum Gunning trying to get him into that final lap. Here we go. Harry Graham. Surely Gunning's not going to be close enough to go for the lead this time. No, he's not. He's got to do it later on in the lap. But can he do it? Harry Graham charging forward on the last lap. Can he get away from Callum Gunning? Harry Graham has led every lap of this race so far. Can he hang on to it? Callum Gunning's got only a couple more chances to get there. This is going to be a tight run to the flag. He's got to keep it going all the way, but I think he's going to make it. Harry Graham out of the final turn. He will do it this time. Harry Graham wins the final. Oh, brilliant. Harry Graham by .076. Baldry is 3rd, Taylor is 4th from Louis Ross and Tom Harvey. Sam Cunliffe 7th from Dylan Reed and Scott Huntley. Ben Gartside is 9th. What about the battle for the rookies? It's Berry this time. This time Berry beats Palmowski to the flag, but what a great battle it was. Amazing racing. So a very different result to the previous heats and pre-finals. Oh my word, Harry Graham hangs on to it. After an amazing battle, Callum Gunning gave it everything, but Harry Graham has beaten him to take the 2nd final of the 2018 season. Harry Graham has done it. Callum Gunning 2nd from Toby Baldry, Nicky Taylor in 4th position, Louis Ross is there in 5th from Tom Harvey, Sam Cunliffe in 7th, Dylan Reed is 8th, Scott Huntley in 9th place and Ben Gartside in 10th position from Jack Rigg, Morgan Cole, Lewis Berry, the top rookie in front of Alicia Palmowski. Then it's Connor Stanton and Dylan Briley with, we had a retirement, from Dylan Briley as well by the look of it. He pulled off the circuit with a mechanical problem. As VJ Ramlau and Tom Davison also retired with mechanical problems. But, well, how about that? Harry Graham fighting with gusto, hanging on in front of Callum Gunning. He may have lost it in the heat, he may have lost it in the pre-final, but he was never going to lose it in the final. Great work, and Harry Graham is your victor in the Junior Championship. So we have Nathan Tye and Harry Graham as our race winners. So that's Harry Graham and Nathan Tye are the winners from the previous finals. Now there's just one race to go here at Clay Pigeon Raceway, and that, of course, is the race for the 125s. The Super Elites are up next.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Well, a very sad sight as Dylan Brierley drives his car back to the pits once again, having had a mechanical problem of some kind, and now brings it back to the pits once again. But what an amazing race day it has been here, as the battle continues here in the paddock at Clay Pigeon Raceway. And there's just one race to go, and it's all about stopping that man. Number 1, Sam Faulkner from pole position. A victory in the heat, a victory in the pre-final, in which of both races he kind of checked out in both of them. So now the question is, can he do it again for the third time in a row? A really interesting battle and a really interesting end to the day it's going to be in the Super Elites 125s. So the drivers will continue on in possession. So we've got Sam Dimolo chasing down Sam Faulkner in those two positions at the front end of the field. Matthew Pearce is alongside Sam Faulkner on the front row, and Tyrone Stansfield is alongside Sam Dimolo on the second row. Drivers all chatting away there in the dummy grid. We've got a few drivers here up on the balcony to speak to, as we have got a few drivers now to discuss with if the cadets and the juniors are about, if any of them wants to come up and grab a word. But Nathan Tye and Harry Graham are victorious from the earlier two finals. So we'll just double check and confirm those results, because obviously that was how the order looked as they came across the line last time. So we will just double check and make sure. You can, of course, follow all of the races as they happen on Alpha Timing. And Alpha Live have been very brilliant at giving us a great run here this weekend. They've been absolutely brilliant in giving us a really good live feed on the live stream. Everybody really enjoying it from the look of it. So it's been really exciting stuff. Harry Graham, Pippin Callum Gunning and Toby Baldry to the podium. We've had some great races as the day has continued. So let's see how things will conclude then. It's going to be a very interesting battle for this last race of the day, the 125 Elites. But we now kind of want to see how things are going to go for the rest of the meeting. Now I've been given an updated cadet final, and it looks to me as though there has been an amendment to the final cadet result. I've just got the final result in front of me, and it looks to me as though the victory has been handed to Oakley Keatley in front of Ella Stevens in second and Nathan Tye in third position. So there looks like there has been a penalty handed out there of 2 places, I guess, to Nathan Tye. So that drops him to third position. He maintains the lead of the Drivers' Championship, though. Kylan Ingram is fourth from Charlie Humphreys and Jamie Gurney. Aidan Hassan, Craig Evans, the lead rookie from Callum Lockett and Jamie Scott. And then following on, Archie Heron, Lily Jeffs, Josh Turnbull, Hudson Gross, Jay Sharp and Jamie Warner, with Jake Bell electing not to take the start. And now Nathan Tye's penalty has been confirmed. He was given a 2-place penalty for a collision with Ella Stevens. Now, I'm not sure, I didn't see one, but obviously that is a battle that we need to take into account, and obviously I'm not entirely sure where that happened, so we'll have to figure out what's happened there, but that's what I've got in front of me. So Oakley Keatley has been handed the victory in the cadets from Ella Stevens and Nathan Tye. That's what I've got in front of me here. So we will continue to discuss that one a little bit later. That's the confirmation I've got in front of me. Whether that's going to be discussed again, I don't know. But now what an absolutely brilliant end to the day it's going to be, because we've got the 125s out there. Great to see everybody watching along at home with all the action. Congratulations from Darren Arneson to Harry Graham for winning the race in the Junior 100 final. Top driving. And we're now going to get ourselves ready to go racing for the 125 CCs. One man who should be on the grid who isn't, Joe Patterson. He's very quick to say loving the sunglasses, Mike Faulkner and Brian Dimolo. However, why isn't Joe Patterson on the grid? I think that's where the biggest mockery should actually come from, because that's where he should actually be. But he's not on the starting grid for this one. Hopefully he'll find £2.50 down the back of the sofa and afford the bus fare to come racing once again. We'll find out. But there's some great racing still to come, of course, as we've got plenty of other drivers to root for and cheer on in the Super Elites 125 category. Good luck to Ian Williams and Jason Bradbury from David Whitehouse, who is watching. So another good racing prospect for these guys as they get ready for the action on the dummy grid. But looks like there's an interesting battle to come from these guys. Can anybody get on form with Sam Faulkner? He's won the previous 2 races, just as Callum Gunning did, although in the junior final, Gunning was toppled. Can Faulkner be beaten? If you're Matthew Pearce, the answer is yes. If you're Tyrone Stansfield, the answer is what the hell? Let's give it a go. And it's going to be a very interesting battle to see who does what in this final race of the weekend, the Super Elites 125 finale. Now, a point of clarification that Sam Dimolo was very keen to point out to me after the final last time. I said he went off the road, and what actually happened was he had a mechanical failure, and he was very quick to point out, that's not what I do. I don't crash. I'm not a driver who goes off the circuit. It was a mechanical problem letting me down, not my own inability, Jake. So just remember that next time. I know what I'm doing. So point of clarification. Apologies, Sam. I wasn't insinuating anything in such the situation. I just said what I see. I've seen flying pigs, but I don't always talk about it. Anyway, Sam Dimolo on that second row of the grid alongside Tyrone Stansfield, and tucked in behind Matthew Pearce. A good place to be off the start. If Pearce gets a good getaway, then Dimolo can put himself right in there and should get a really strong race out of it as well. But there's going to be some really interesting battles for the 2018 championship here at Clay Pigeon, the second round of the championship. Keelan Phillips watching at home. Good luck to Dan Walden. He's done an amazing job so far, and Dan Walden has really made up some great progress after a difficult qualifying session. He's worked his way up through the field to well inside the hunt for the top 10. So now Dan Walden has a chance to finish his weekend on a high. And some great battles to be had, some great racing in this last race of the weekend, the 125 Elites. And all of the cadets, all of the juniors are now either packing up or getting themselves a really good vantage point, because this is going to be one heck of a race. It always is in the Super Elite 125s, but here in particular, this one has got a little bit more flavour to it, because we've got several drivers who are very closely matched and will all want to put in a really good showdown for the last race of the day. So this weekend has been a tough one. It's been very close, but we now have our final winners. We have Oakley Keatley for the cadets provisionally. And then, of course, we have the provisional winner, Harry Graham, as well, if everything post-scrutineering is according to plan, which we hope it is. So there's going to be a really interesting battle come the Super 125 Elite Final. Here is the grid in its entirety as we get ourselves ready for action. The drivers getting themselves into the carts at the last possible minute at the front end, with the heat being as high as it is. Sam Faulkner and Matthew Pearce will head out onto the starting grid as they roll around the circuit for the 2 formation laps from the front. Tyrone Stansfield, the man from Ty Green in Braintree, will be there on the second row of the grid alongside Sam Dimolo. And then we have Richard Evans and Harry Barlow on that third row of the grid from Ian Williams and Dan Walden, fighting his way forward to 8th position in that one. Can he go any further? The answer should be yes from his point of view. Then we have Jason Bradbury and Elliot Stanley rounding out the top 10. It should be a really interesting race for those two as they continue to work their way up the field too. Jonathan Corrie and Ben Hitch come next on the 6th row of the grid, with Carl Watt and Jim Rainbird on the 7th row of the grid. The whistle goes and they are leaving the pits. So this is the moment they've all been waiting for. Carl Watt is there alongside Jim Rainbird, as we mentioned, Mark Lawrence and Aaron Banks. We've got a problem. It's Elliot Stanley. Elliot Stanley is struggling to get out of the pits. So there's a major problem for Elliot Stanley as he is not able to get started from the pits. And it looks as though they're having to use the manual starter to get him going again. So Elliot Stanley and Neil Fisher having mechanical problems as they come out of the pits. Neil Fisher goes out on track. Elliot Stanley will do the same. But Elliot Stanley is going to really struggle to get this race underway. Well, 17th is Sean Port from George Friday in 18th. Then it's Thomas Massarella and Will Checkley. Michael Roots in 21st. David Darling in 22nd place. Matt Ogle and Jamie Hunniset. And then towards the back of the grid we'll have Phil Patience, Dave Burns and Neil Fisher. But Elliot Stanley is looking unlikely to take up the start of the race here. I'm not sure Elliot Stanley is going to be able to compete in this one. He hasn't even left the pits yet. And they're really struggling to get the engine fired up. They have got it going. But is it going to be enough? I wonder if there's a bigger problem here. And they're going to go around again, I think, for a third formation lap as they wait for Elliot Stanley to come out onto the circuit. So they will go around again. But Elliot Stanley is really racing against the clock to come out onto the circuit once again. Stuck in the pits, unable to move. Something definitely wrong with the car, and there's 4 mechanics around it. But I think it's going to be game over for Elliot Stanley. He's out of the kart. I don't believe it. Wow, that is a nightmare. So it looks to me as though the race is going to be over for Elliot Stanley. Well, they seem to have another part that they're rushing to get onto the kart in time. It is a bit of a race against time at the moment. Even if Elliot Stanley could start the race from the pits, he'll have an interesting fight back. Now they are going to get sent around again, I'm told. This is one of the things I love about this championship. Elliot Stanley's stuck in the pits, but they are going to try and get him out there. So they are going to send them round one more time. But they are going to work very quickly indeed to get Elliot Stanley out there. What you've got to understand about the Birelart UK Series paddock, for those watching at home, is that this is a Three Musketeers style paddock. No man gets left behind. It's one for all and all for one, as everybody tries to work everybody out onto the circuit if they can. They're doing as much as they can to get Elliot Stanley out there. Fire the engine up and get him going. Will he get out there in time? Now he should be able to just cut through and join the back of the grid. No, it's game over. It's game over. Oh, what a shame for Elliot Stanley. That is such a sad thing to see from the pits. He's not going to be able to race. Anyway, the racing out on the circuit is going to begin after their 4th rolling lap. So, obviously, the drivers are going to be highly strung. They're going to be highly motivated. But this is going to be it. And we've got so many spectators up here on the balcony and along the pit straight wanting to watch the action. So now we're here ready for the big action to begin. Here we go, and it's a good start for Matthew Pearce. He takes the lead initially. And as they come through for the first couple of corners, is it going to be a clean start? Looks like it to me. Matthew Pearce is in the lead. Sam Font the second, and Dimolo through to third. Stansfield's down to 5th behind Evans. Evans is in P4. So a cracking start from Matthew Pearce. He leads the way. Sam Dimolo now has a great chance. We've got a yellow flag. I think that's Will Checkley who's come off at the horseshoe. So Will Checkley gets back into the race again. And I think Carl Watt's got a problem. So Carl Watt has got a problem with his card. He is going to pull it into the pits to retire. But as the racing carries on, it is going to be a really interesting battle up front. Here's a replay. We're going to see what happens in the background, I think. I thought we were going to see what happens in the background, but we didn't quite get to see it. I think we're going to try and have a look and see what happened on that lap. But if we get to it, we will hopefully pick it up. But at the moment, it is in the race. Oh, we got a yellow flag. We got a couple of cards off the road. That's Tom Massarella, who's gone off in there with Jim Rainbird. So Massarella and Rainbird have come together, and they've dropped down the order. Oh, now we're watching a replay of what happened on the first lap. So Rainbird and Massarella have come together. Hopefully we'll see that. That's a little tussle between Checkley and Watt. So damage to Watt's card. He's out of the race. And Massarella now having spun. So Massarella looks like he's out of the race. A real problem for Tom Massarella. He's going to have to get the cart off the racetrack as Pierce, Faulkner, Evans, Stansfield and Dimolo battle their way through. Yellow flags. But now Richard Evans has got a chance to get after Sam Faulkner. Evans is on the charge for Sam Faulkner and he's going for the place. He's going to put his nose going in there with Faulkner. So Matthew Pierce has got a chance to make this happen. Pierce is your leader, Faulkner second, Evans third, then it's Stansfield, Dimolo and Barlow. Can Sam Faulkner shake off Richard Evans? This is an absolutely cracking race all of a sudden, and it's all thanks to Richard Evans, who's got his cart properly dialed in. Well, sadly, Tom Massarella joins Carl Watt out of the race. But it's Matthew Pierce who leads from Sam Faulkner, Richard Evans, Tyrone Stansfield, Sam Dimolo and Harry Barlow. Out in front, still great racing from our leaders. There is your man, number 3, Matthew Pierce, out in front of Sam Faulkner and Tyrone Stansfield. Tyrone Stansfield fourth now behind Richard Evans. Can they work closer to Sam Faulkner? Sam Faulkner's closing right up on Matthew Pierce. Pierce absolutely determined to hang on to the victory this time if he can possibly help it. Sam Faulkner's close in second place. But what a battle. This is the 1-2-5 Elite, and Stansfield tries to make a move on the inside of Evans to get through in the third position, and it hasn't worked. So he's now having to try another manoeuvre. He's having to try and fight his way back. But this is Sam Faulkner now attacking Matthew Pierce for the lead of the race. Evans, Stansfield, Dimolo, Barlow, Williams and Jason Bradbury in the mix. Then it's Ben Hitch from Jonathan Corrie. That's a good overtake from Neil Fisher on Dave Burns. He gets the move. Here comes Faulkner. Watch out, Matthew Pierce. He's going to go for it. And is he there? Matthew Pierce defending. Sam Faulkner dives back for the inside. Matthew Pierce is not going to let him through. But Faulkner's got him. So Faulkner's got him and takes the lead, and now here comes Evans, and there's contact! There's contact between Evans and Pierce! Evans goes for Pierce, and off the racetrack they go! Richard Evans and Matthew Pierce are out of the race. Oh, that is a disaster for both of them. Matthew Pierce topples out of his cart, and he is not happy at all. Big damage as Matthew Pierce shakes off a hobbling right foot. Well, Matthew Pierce jogs away and it's game over for Matthew Pierce. What a shame. What an absolute shame. Well, all of a sudden, Joe Patterson's question from earlier comes into play. Can Sam Dimolo be the first Masters driver to win this year? Well, he's been released into fourth position. Barlow's got through in a third. So now it's Sam Faulkner, Tyrone Stansfield and Harry Barlow. That's the order at the moment. But Richard Evans has got going again in the number 2, and he now finds himself battling away with Jamie Hunnison and Will Checkley as he continues to fight forward. But Matthew Pierce is out of the race after that incident with Richard Evans. Now I wonder if there is a replay of that, because that was a really interesting battle as they battle for position. But they tumbled their way into each other out of the circuit. I'd quite like to see a replay of that incident if we can. But I know the Alpha Life boys are obviously working very hard down there. Sam Dimolo has managed to get past Harry Barlow. So great racing at the moment, but Dimolo has got himself through in a third place. And are we going to see 3 champions from last year in the top 3 places on the podium? Not if Harry Barlow's got anything to say about it. He's going to try as Ian Williams resists from Jason Bradbury. Now, I want to see that replay. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to, but they are going to try and have a look for it. But this is absolutely terrific racing for third position between Dimolo and Barlow. We thought we were going to see this kind of battle, and we certainly have. So now as the racing continues here, Sam Faulkner leads the way. Stansfield in second. Third is Dimolo from Harry Barlow. Fourth position Williams. Then it is Bradbury, Hitch, Corrie, Walden and Aaron Banks, with a lot of drivers having moved further down the order. But it's a very tough race, this one. A lot of attrition and a lot of great racing. But with Pierce out of the race and Richard Evans down at the back of the field. It looks like it's going to be Sam Faulkner battling away. So some terrific racing and to me amazing battles in that one. Neil Fisher makes a move on Sean Port as he goes through. But it's Sam Faulkner from Tyrone Stansfield, Sam Demelow, Harry Barlow, Williams, Bradbury, Hitch, Corrie, Walden and Banks. Mark Lawrence is the leading Grand Master, by the way, having a great weekend in 11th place. So this is all going very well indeed for him. But Tyrone Stansfield is doing his best to close in on Sam Faulkner, and he's going for it. Tyrone Stansfield is chipping away at Sam Faulkner's lead, and it's a brilliant run at the moment. Well, something is wrong with our live timing at the moment. It doesn't seem to be showing us a bit of a gap at the moment. So Sam Faulkner and Tyrone Stansfield are 1 and 2. And Tyrone Stansfield is catching Sam Faulkner, who I guess must be feeling that this is a very easy victory. But now Tyrone Stansfield has decided, I'm going for it. Let's see if he can get himself a really strong run. So let's see if he can get himself a really strong battle. It is going to go all the way to the dais, this one. But the top three still very closely matched at the moment, and that looks like Richard Evans has made the move on Jim Rainbird as he goes for the place and gets it. Now he's going to take on Matt Ogle. But Sam Faulkner is being caught by Tyrone Stansfield. Third is Sam Demelow in front of the 301 of Harry Barlow. Then it's Ian Williams and Jason Bradbury. I'm trying to figure out how much time we've got left. It is 5 minutes and 3/4 with 1 lap on top of that. There's a slight issue with the timing. I do apologise for that, folks, but we are trying to keep on top of it. My timing screen has now come back in front of me. But the gap between Faulkner and Stansfield is now steady at 9/10 of a second. Demelow is third, Barlow fourth from Williams, Bradbury, Hitch, Corrie, Walden and Banks. Several of the big names have gone down in this one, and it looks like Jamie Hunnisett is out of the race. Jamie Hunnisett is out of the race as well. So that's another retirement, unfortunately. But Jamie Hunnisett now finds himself out of the race. Richard Evans is obviously a lap down after his incident. So he now has to try and work his way further forward. Or at least I'm being told he's a lap down. I'm not sure if he actually is. But Richard Evans has come across the line, apparently having only completed 14 laps of the 15. Well, hang on a second. I'm trying to figure out where Richard Evans has gone now, the number 2. Now that is Dave Burns, the 197. And Richard Evans has retired from the race, in fact. So Richard Evans is out of the race. So he had a battle earlier on. He was making up places, but now Richard Evans has retired from the race. So this is a race of real attrition, as George Friday was there battling away with Aaron Banks to try and break into the top 10. Mark Lawrence is still the leading Grand Master. Third place is still being fought between Sam Demelow and Harry Barlow, with Ian Williams close in behind. Then it is Jason Bradbury. Then we've got Jonathan Corrie having moved up to 7th place in front of Ben Hitch and Dan Walden. And rounding out the top 10 at the moment is Michael Roots. So it looks to me at the moment as though we're going to have 3 drivers from the 3 championship victories last year coming through to take the victory. Just under 4 minutes plus 1 lap to go. And Sam Faulkner heads Tyrone Stansfield. And it all looks pretty nip and tuck at the moment if you're Sam Faulkner. He's got himself a good run here and it looks pretty neat and tidy. But Sam Faulkner leads the way from Tyrone Stansfield, with Sam Demelow, Harry Barlow, Ian Williams and Jason Bradbury all in the mix for 3rd position, with a lot of retirements from this one because we've lost several big names from the field. We've lost Dave Burns, we've lost Richard Evans, we've lost Jamie Hunnisett, we've lost Matthew Pearce and we've lost Thomas Massarella. George Friday going for the move there once again on Dave Burns, still battling away. Aaron Banks he was battling with, my apologies, as they scrap over 12th place. Sam Faulkner now extends the gap over him and Tyrone Stansfield to just over a second, and with just under 3 minutes to go plus 1 lap, it looks like it's going to be Sam Faulkner who wins this one from Tyrone Stansfield. So a great battle and a really interesting challenge for the rest of this one to come, but we're going to get some truly spectacular racing over the course of this season. If things continue on, we will keep racing on in fine style as the drivers will all race to the end. Now this is where things could get interesting, of course, because now the heat in the tyres is going to get particularly poignant. And now we're going to get an interesting battle as up the inside. We got some great racing there as Tyrone Stansfield closes up a little bit there on the race leader, Sam Faulkner. Stansfield looks back, having completely checked out in front of Sam Dimolo. Barlow is fourth. Fifth place is a great battle between Williams and Bradbury. They're having a great race right now. Jonathan Corrie seventh, then it's Walden, Hitch, Roots, Lawrence and Banks. So this is going to be a really interesting championship battle, but that's big points lost for Richard Evans and Matthew Pearce. Second and third in last year's championship, both of them out of the race. And there's still a long way to go in this one from their point of view. 1 minute 35 plus 1 lap roughly. Dimolo still in front of Barlow. Barlow still giving him pressure. Fifth position, that is Ian Williams, still getting a lot of attention from Jason Bradbury. Jonathan Corrie seventh, then it's Dan Walden. Ben Hitch, the leading rookie, and Michael Roots in front of the leading Grandmaster, which this time out is the Scottish racer Mark Lawrence in 11th place. Well, John Corrie's getting a lot of pressure from Dan Walden. Mark Lawrence is trying to close up on Michael Roots. The 12th place battle is still between Aaron Banks and George Friday. And then it's Neil Fisher in 14th, ahead of Sean Port and Jim Rainbird. Matt Ogle 17th from Will Checkley, David Darling, Carl Watt and Phil Patience, with Burns out, Evans out, Hunnisett out, Pearce out and Massarella out. Closing stages of this one, Sam Faulkner trying to hang on. Barlow's got to third. Harry Barlow's got into third position in front of Sam Dimolo. So Harry Barlow is now going for the third place on the dais in front of Sam Dimolo. A last minute lunge there from Barlow to put himself into the shop window for the final step of the podium. This is going to be a great final couple of laps then. And into the pits comes Will Checkley. Will Checkley is out of the race with damage to his car. So, unfortunately, it's game over for Will Checkley once again. Sam Dimolo is absolutely chucking the cart into the S's, trying to keep up with Harry Barlow. He's really struggling for grip, but he's still giving it absolutely everything he's got. So, Harry Barlow there in third position. Here comes Sam Faulkner to begin the last lap, and it's all about Sam Faulkner at the moment. Tyrone Stansfield's done his very best to catch him, and he's kept the gap as close to a second as he possibly can. But Harry Barlow is going to get third position on the podium here. It's going to be a very youthful podium in the Super 125s as Roots goes for the move on Ben Hitch in the last lap. But Sam Faulkner is going to canter to the victory. It's been a great run. Winner in the heat, winner in the pre-final, and now he can take the top step in the final. Out of the final turn, Sam Faulkner gets the hat-trick and gets the clean sweep. Sam Faulkner wins it. Second place for Tyrone Stansfield and third position for Harry Barlow. A great race from Barlow and he's happy with that. Fourth for Dimolo, fifth for Williams and sixth for Jason Bradbury. Jonathan Corrie comes home in seventh place in front of Dan Walden, Ben Hitch, Michael Roots and the lead Grandmaster Mark Lawrence, with Aaron Banks just pipping George Friday to 12th. Neil Fisher in 14th in front of Sean Port and Jim Rainbird. Then it is Matt Ogle, Carl Watt, David Darling, and then we have Phil Patience in 20th place with the retirements, Will Checkley, Dave Burns, Richard Evans, Jamie Hunnisett, Matthew Pearce and Tom Massarella. But what an absolutely unbelievable, phenomenal, spectacular race that was, with so much to talk about in 25 laps of Clay Pigeon Raceway. But we now have our winners. Oakley Keatley from the cadets, from the juniors Harry Graham, and from the Super Elite 125s it is Sam Faulkner, 1.7 ahead of Tyrone Stansfield in a brilliant second place. Third place for Harry Barlow, ahead of Sam Dimolo, Ian Williams, Jason Bradbury, John Corrie, Dan Walden, Ben Hitch and Michael Roots, with the leading Grandmaster Mark Lawrence. Well, I genuinely didn't think it was going to be as tense as that. We knew it was going to be a great race. We thought it was going to be very exciting, but that was great racing right to the death. Pure motorsport and pure fantastic, phenomenal action. As we always say in the Birelart UK Series paddock, we put the sport into motorsport. It really is very tight over the course of the 3 classes. Everyone has a chance to win. They all have the same equipment, the same chassis, the Birelart, the same engines, the Iami, the same tyres, the Vega, all the same components. It all comes down to the driving talent, and we've seen bags of it here at Clay Pigeon. The second round of the 2018 Birelart UK Series Championship has been phenomenal, as we knew it would be. And now we've only got a short wait for the next one, folks, which is good. You don't have to wait too long to watch your heroes in action again, because we will be back on the Birelart UK Series Facebook page and on Downforce UK on Spreaker and, of course, Trackside, live once again 2 weeks from now when we go to the Speedfest that is Fullbeck in Grantham in Lincolnshire. It's going to be a really exciting battle 2 weeks from now for the third round of the championship. A massive thank you to everybody at Clay Pigeon Raceway, though. You guys have been absolutely phenomenal. The marshals have been stupendous throughout. You've kept us safe. We've had no major incidents to talk about, which is brilliant news. No injuries, really, and no major upsets. Thank you once again to the marshals. We couldn't race without you, and the Orange Army has been absolutely fantastic throughout. Thank you so much. Clay Pigeon, you've done us proud. 10 months ago, we had a great race meeting. 10 months later, I think this has been even better than that. Really great racing, and we're going to do it again 2 weeks from now for the third round of the Birelart UK Series 2018 Championship at Fullbeck in Lincolnshire. Those watching on the stream, you'll be able to stick around for the podium, which we'll do very shortly. For those listening on the Downforce UK Spreaker stream, that is it for the day. But before we get to the podium, a very big thank you to everybody. A great meeting, great performance from everyone. And all that remains is the podiums, which will be on the Birelart UK Series Facebook page. A huge thank you to everybody. And from me, Jake Sanson, before the podium, a chance to thank all of the marshals and officials and everybody at Clay Pigeon Raceway. And see you at Fullbeck.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.